On the shores of Lake Erie sits Cleveland's Municipal Stadium. Tonight it plays host to baseball's 52nd All-Star game and the first test of baseball's post-strike relationship with the fans. In the first half of the season, there were some surprises. Foremost among them, Fernando Valenzuela. 9 wins, 5 shutouts, a minuscule ERA, and a starting berth in tonight's All-Star game. No less sensational was Montreal speedster Tim Raines. An incredible 50 stolen bases in his first 55 games. A little farther north in California, they were playing Billy Ball. And out in Oakland, Tony Armas was leading the power departments and leading high fives in both leagues. A little less successful in his efforts was Billy Martin. Managerially, he was fine, but his dirt throwing on the back of umpire Terry Cooney cost him a suspension. For surprises, there was one to be found on the south side of Chicago, a familiar face in an unfamiliar uniform. Carlton Fisk leading a charge of the White Sox in the American West. A surprise of a different sort was provided by the Royals and one George Brett. The Royals and Brett broke from the gate slowly, and though Brett managed to come around just before June 11th, the Royals remained mired at the bottom of the American West. For excitement, there was enough of that to go around from coast to coast. Record crowds poured into ballparks around the country, and they saw a number of outstanding individual performances, perhaps none finer than the pressure-packed performance of Dave Winfield. Responding to the pressure of being baseball's highest-paid player, he was enjoying his finest season yet and throwing caution to the wind. And then there was Ken Singleton dealing from both sides of the plate to lead an Orioles charge throughout the month of May. Singleton coming into this All-Star game riding a batting average of .340. In Houston, excitement came off the surprisingly hot bat of one Art Howe. A journeyman much of his career, all Howe did this first season was reel off the major's longest hitting streak, a 23-game mark that put him near the top of the batting averages in the National League. And then there was the law firm of Davis and Gossage. Whenever there was trouble against the Yankees, they came in and restored order. It was Davis who did it in long relief, Gossage in short relief. At strike time, he had 17 saves, an 0.56 ERA. For one-time mastery, it was tough to top the performance of rookie Charlie Lee. The Montreal Expos against the San Francisco Giants, he managed to throw a no-hitter. But he was gone one better by Cleveland's hometown favorite, Lem Barker. Pitching before the home folks here at Municipal Stadium against Toronto's Blue Jays, he faced only 27 batters. No runs, no hits, no errors, no walks. The Major League's first perfect game in 13 years. For those who like their numbers in baseball, there was enough of that in baseball's first season, too. From the left side of the mound, there was Steve Carlton, merely piling up his distinction as baseball's finest left-hander, now with 3,000 strikeouts and 250 career wins. From the right side, there was number 41 of the Cincinnati Reds, Tom Seaver, still terrific after all these years. Like Carlton, he was posting impressive career numbers, 3,000 Ks, 250 career wins. And how about this man? He just rolls on and on and on. Gaylord Perry now weaving his magic for the Atlanta Braves, closing in on 300 wins. He needs just 4 more. In the speed department, Seattle's Julio Cruz tied an American League record with 32 stolen bases. But no finer number was posted than that put up on the board by Pete Rose. He tied Stan Musial's National League career hit record at 3,630. That was on June 11th. On the 12th, the strike hit.
We have accomplished nothing. The strike is on.
Unfortunately, the differences between the Players Association at the bargaining table and ourselves are very significant, and we have not been able to overcome them up to this point in time.
The differences were significant enough to force baseball's first midsummer strike, a strike that closed the industry down for 50 days and forced cancellation of 706 games. But the first half is history. The second half begins tonight with the 52nd All-Star game.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to meet the 1981 All-Star squads. First, the National League.
Well, the National League, but this is an American League city. They got a fair round of boos. The test will come when the American Leaguers are introduced.
The coaches, Houston manager Bill Burden, Montreal manager Dick Williams. Others on the National League staff, from the Chicago Cubs, trainer Tony Garofalo. From Philadelphia, Lee Elia. And in the bullpen, Mike Ryan. And now the players. From the Atlanta Braves, catcher Bruce Benedict. From the Chicago Cubs, first baseman Bill Buckner. From the Cincinnati Reds, pitcher Tom Seaver. Representing the Houston Astros, pitcher Nolan Ryan. And pitcher Bob Nepper. From the Los Angeles Dodgers, first baseman Steve Garvey. Outfielder Dusty Baker. Outfielder Pedro Guerrero. And pitcher Bert Hooton. From the Montreal Expos, outfielder Tim Raines. From the New York Mets, outfielder Joel Youngblood. From the Philadelphia Phillies, second baseman Manny Trio. Pitcher Steve Carlton. And pitcher Dick Ruthven. Representing the Pittsburgh Pirates, second baseman Bill Garner. Third baseman Bill Madlock. And outfielder Mike Easler. From the St. Louis Cardinals, pitcher Bruce Sutter. From the San Diego Padres, shortstop Ozzie Smith. And catcher Terry Kennedy. From the San Francisco Giants, pitcher Vida Blue. And now, the manager of the National League All-Stars, managing his first All-Star game from the world champion Philadelphia Phillies, Dallas Green. The starting lineup for the National League. Leading off from the Philadelphia Phillies, he needs only one more hit to become the all-time National League career hit leader. First baseman Pete Rose. Batting second from the Cincinnati Reds, he's leading the league in game-winning RBIs. Shortstop Dave Concepcion. Hitting third from the Pittsburgh Pirates, he was the MVP of the 1979 All-Star Game. Right fielder Dave Parker. Batting fourth from the Philadelphia Phillies, the most valuable player in both the National League and in the World Series last year, third baseman Mike Schmidt. Hitting fifth from the Cincinnati Reds, he's leading the league in RBIs and tied for the lead in homers, left fielder George Foster. Hitting sixth from the Montreal Expos. He has 13 homers and a .325 average this season. Center fielder Andre Dawson. Batting seventh from the Montreal Expos. He was the runner-up in the league MVP voting last season. Catcher Gary Carter. Hitting eighth from the Los Angeles Dodgers, the top vote getter in the 1980 All-Star election, second baseman Davey Lopes. Batting ninth and pitching from the Los Angeles Dodgers, he's tied for the lead in victories as a rookie. Warming up in the bullpen, Fernando Valenzuela. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here are the American League All-Stars.
It didn't
The
take long.
coaches.
It's up.
Cleveland manager Dave Garcia.
What a tremendous thrill for Dave Garcia, the manager here, to get such a reception, a standing ovation. The many frustrating years that man has spent, all being rewarded here. Tony, baseball is back.
Well, the reaction
Texas
of the American
manager
leaguers
Don
is really
Zimmer.
something.
Others on the American League staff. From Cleveland, trainer Jim Warfield. Also from Cleveland, coaches Dennis Summers. In the bullpen, Dave Duncan. Tom McCraw. And from California, honorary coach Jimmy Reese. And now the players. From the Baltimore Orioles, pitcher Scott McGregor. And first baseman Eddie Murray. From the Boston Red Sox, outfielder Dwight Evans. From the California Angels, shortstop Rick Burleson. Outfielder Fred Lynn. And pitcher Ken Forsch. From the Chicago White Sox, pitcher Brett Burns. Representing the Kansas City Royals, second baseman Frank White. From the Milwaukee Brewers, outfielder Gorman Thomas. Catcher Ted Simmons. And pitcher Raleigh Fingers. From the Minnesota Twins, pitcher Doug Corbett. From the New York Yankees, pitcher Ron Davis. And pitcher Rich Goose Gossage. From the Oakland A's, pitcher Mike Norris. And outfielder Tony Armas. From the Seattle Mariners, outfielder Tom Paciorek. Representing the Texas Rangers, outfielder Al Oliver. And third baseman Buddy Bell.
Well, Buddy Bell gets a homecoming ovation here from these Cleveland fans, and so far the baseball fans have reacted the way you would expect. They've cheered at the right time when the hometowners come home, and they've booed when the enemy, namely the Yankees, have been introduced. Yes, sir, baseball is back.
From the Toronto Blue Jays, pitcher Dave Steed. From the Cleveland Indians, catcher Bo Diaz. Pitcher Len Barker.
Who had the perfect game, and you can't help but wonder what would have happened had he been the starting pitcher. He has to come back for another ovation.
Manager Jimmy Fry really wrestled with that one, as he told Brian Gumbel in the pregame show.
And now, the manager of the American League All-Stars, managing his first All-Star game, from the American League champion Kansas City Royals, Jim Fry.
Well, had Jim Fry started Barker, I think they would have been cheers, but he didn't, and he has to pay the price.
The American League starting lineup. Leading off from the California Angels, the leading active hitter with a career batting average of .333, first baseman Rod Carew. Batting second from the New York Yankees, a four-time All-Star, making his second start, second baseman Willie Randolph.
It's Reggie.
Batting third from the Kansas City Royals, the league's most valuable player in 1980 and the top vote getter this year, third baseman George Brett. Batting cleanup from the New York Yankees, a five-time All-Star, but a member of the American League squad for the first time, center fielder Dave Winfield. Hitting fifth from the Baltimore Orioles, the second leading hitter in the league with a .339 average, left fielder Ken Singleton. Hitting sixth from the New York Yankees, named an All-Star for the 11th time, right fielder Reggie Jackson. Batting seventh from the Chicago White Sox, elected a starter for the 6th time, catcher Carlton Fisk. Hitting eighth from the New York Yankees, the other half of the New York Yankees All-Star Keystone combination, shortstop Bucky Dent. And the pitcher warming up in the bullpen from the Detroit Tigers, leading the league with 9 victories, Jack Morris. And now let's meet the honorary captains. The National League captain won more games than any left-handed pitcher in the history of baseball, a total of 363 during his 21-year Major League career. He was a 20-game winner 13 times, including a 23-victory season at the age of 42. Hall of Famer Warren Spahn of the Braves.
What a pitcher, Warren Spahn. Right out of the Spalding guide with his delivery, flawless, great pickoff move. There wasn't anything he couldn't do, and that's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
The American League captain pitched 3 no-hitters and a Major League record 12 one-hitters. He led the league in strikeouts 7 times, including 348 in 1946.
This ovation should just break everything, Tony.
He finished his career with 266 victories, all of them for the Cleveland Indians. Bob Feller.
See, Spahn and Feller will go to the coaching lines, won't they, during this game? What, the 5th inning? They'll get their shot at the first base coaching box. They talk about his fastball, but he had some kind of curveball.
What memories that stirs up when you see that. Bob Feller, another Hall of Famer.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask you to please rise for the national anthems. First, the Canadian national anthem, which will be sung by the daughter of the late Elston Howard, a 9-time American League All-Star. Here is Miss Cheryl Howard.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. We stand on guard, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
And now, to honor America, the national anthem will be sung by longtime Cleveland favorite Rocco Scotty.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's so gallantly streaming, when the rockets rang near, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sailors that star-spangled banner yet wave, for the land of the free and the home of the
Well, what a tremendous opening to the All-Star game here. Ron Scotty and the lovely daughter of the late Elston Howard, and how you kept thinking of him. The fireworks, the big flag, the ovation, the booze, it's all here.
Almost 70,000 people, maybe an All-Star game record, Joe.
A full house, and now baseball is back, and we'll be back with the start of the game right after this.
Third base from the National League, Bob Engel. On the left field line from the American League, Greg Kosk. On the right field line.
There you see
from
the
National
umpires
League,
being introduced to the crowd here.
Ladies and
Bill
gentlemen, at this
Haller
time,
behind the
we would
plate
like to
on the right-hand
remind
side of
you
your
that
screen.
rules prohibit fans from
Lou DeMuro to his left, far right. What a tremendous thrill it must have been for Dave Garcia, the Cleveland manager, who I think, Tony, got the longest and the loudest ovation of any of them.
He did, and we hope you fans watching on television enjoyed that marvelous opening or pregame opening to this as much as we did. Everybody was applauding as the fireworks went off, and it was just a marvelous display put on the city of Cleveland. Gabe Paul, the president of this ball club.
Well, what do you think about the fans? You think it's like the spurned lover they kissed and made up?
Kinda. They made up with the American Leaguers anyway.
Well,
that was obvious, except for Reggie. He got a few boos, but Reggie deserves to be here because the fans want him here.
You can't ever ignore Reggie as the American League takes the field.
The defense, Singleton, Kenny Singleton in left field. Dave Winfield in center, Reggie Jackson in right field. George Brett from Kansas City at third. Bucky Dent from the Yankees at short. Willie Randolph also from the Yankees at second base. Rod Carew at first base. Carlton Fisk of the White Sox, and the starting pitcher from the Detroit Tigers, Jack Morris. And Jimmy Fry said he started him. He said if he had wanted to start somebody on emotion, he would have started Barker in his hometown after the perfect game. But he said, I went on sheer stats. He's been the most consistent. 1-9, lost 3. Throws hard, has a good curveball. And that'll be the test, I think. If these pitchers, after the long layoff, almost 2 months of real competition, can get their breaking stuff over, the finesse pitches. And if they can, if the hitters can hit them.
I just wonder if it'll be the spring training bromide that the pitchers are ahead of the hitters. We'll wait and see who's the first one to say that. We might add, while we got a chance here, that it rained here on Friday. They had a football game here last night between the Steelers and the Browns. But I want to tell you something, that Marshall Bossert, and that's a famous name among groundskeepers in baseball, the Bossert family led by Emil Bossert, the father, what a job they have done getting this field in shape. You can hardly tell there was a football game here. The yard markers, the grass will slow the ball up. I don't think there'll be any balls shooting through that infield, but it is in great shape. The only trouble spot is in the center field. Pete Rose will lead it off, and everybody thought that Pete Rose would be setting his first record by breaking Musial's record, but as he steps in the batter's box, it's a new record for Pete Rose. The 5th All-Star position that he is starting at.
And if baseball is on trial, could they have a better character witness to lead it off than this guy, Pete Rose?
Rose played second base, third base, left field, right field, and tonight, first base. It's his 15th All-Star game. Here's the first pitch of the All-Star game, 1981. Ball one. That shrill that you hear are the whistles. There was a campaign here. Blow the whistle on the players and show your frustration, your anger. And they were passed out. We had some sent to us.
Was it just players or was it baseball? Blow the whistle on baseball?
Everybody. Can't very well whistle on the owners, though. They're not here.
Well, this game will start erasing some of those bad memories. We've already seen it before the game. Well, look at that. That man is unbelievable.
I'll tell you, the longest he went without a hit, it took a strike to do it.
Pete Rose, as you look at 1981 National League rankings, hits, he is first. He came into this All-Star game with a 14-game hitting streak before the strike. Pete Rose with that crouch that has become so familiar, looking over the right shoulder. He hits a good pitch. Sinker down low and away, he went with it. How he can maintain the level of concentration and the durability he has is beyond me.
Here is Dave Concepcion. Ball one.
And Pete on a decoy of steal of second base had Bucky Dent, the very first pitch to Concepcion out of position. Dent was going to cover the bag.
Didn't get a slow curveball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Davies spent a good part of the first half of the season as we look at Rose being held by Carew. 2 future Hall of Famers right there in your picture, folks. Concepcion for a while was leading that National League in RBIs, hitting in the number 3 spot for John McNamara in Cincinnati. Foster has since passed him.
Slow curveball. He chased it, foul tip. It got Carlton Fisk. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Concepcion was the player of the month for April in the National League. It just kind of nicks him. High curveball.
I think you're going to see a lot of hitters off stride early in this second part of the season. They haven't been used to seeing live arms with good stuff, change of speeds, movement on the ball.
Foul ball. Concepcion was hitting at .306 in 55 games. Second in the National League with 44 runs batted in. Foster was leading it 49. I guess you can say led because we're going to have that split season, which will be a bit confusing. Baseball will run out of asterisks. One ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out. Pete Rose, the leadoff man at first. Got him.
Might have been a hard slider, Joe. It's hard to tell from up here. Either a fastball that sailed away from Concepcion, but it had excellent movement on it. See the Jack Morris stats? He's been overlooked a little bit in the American League. Before this season, the prior 2 seasons before that, he'd won 33 ball games combined.
Dave Parker. Dave Parker from nearby Pittsburgh, and they really let him have it. Phil Garner, Bill Matlock, all took their boos very gracefully, and Mike Easler, also a Pirate, but he was cheered because he's a hometowner. There's a strike. Parker was hitting at .286 in 34 games. He had 5 home runs, and 25 runs batted in. One ball and 1 strike. Dave Parker. He's his own man. There's that earring that he wears.
One of the guys, although the strike hurt his pocketbook, as it did almost all the players, it may have helped that knee, which he had off-season surgery upon.
He had a good cut at that one, but he still limped around that batter's box a bit. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I guess you'd have to say that man is one of the strongest in this game today, along with Foster. I guess Norman Thomas.
Big.
One of the strong men in the American League is not here. Jimmy Rice. But there are a lot of great players who are not here in this game. It's always difficult selecting them.
1 ball and 2 strikes. I've always said I wish there weren't a roster, because there are guys who just belong here, but they shouldn't be here at the expense of those who deserve it by the way they're playing. Carew, what a play he made. I think he just put the glove down, and there it was.
I will show you the quickness of Arad Carew. It appeared like he would not stop. Remember, he's holding Rozon. Look how close he is to Dave Parker, who absolutely mashes this ball, sinking, hooking away. Rodney waves at it. I don't know if it hit his glove or hit him up on the heel of the hand. He makes a super play to get one out on Parker. That ball's double all the way, Joe.
I did too. It hit him about 3 different places. Let's watch it on his isolate. Once hit him in the nose and bounces away, and he gets it. Might add, you just saw some tremendous shots, and we want to tip our hat to our crew right now. Before they took their first shot, our crew had 14 working hours behind them because of the football game last night. They worked through the night, getting set up, and here they are manning the cameras to give you these great pictures. And already in the first inning, they've been tested, and as we expected, they passed. Didn't mean to swing. It's a foul ball, strike 1. Mike Schmidt led all National League players in voting with 1,037,307. He's the only National League player to top the 1 million vote mark. 6th All-Star game for Mike Schmidt.
He has moved off the plate and is using that whole field ahead.
That fastball was inside.
So I was looking down at the National League bullpen just a moment ago. Valenzuela is a scheduled starting pitcher, but Tom Seaver has been doing a lot of loosening up throughout this first inning. I don't know if that means he's just getting ready to be the second pitcher in the ball game and Valenzuela's loose, but we'll find out when the National League takes the field.
Stays high. 2 balls and 1 strike. There you see Seaver.
He's loose and ready, and if he's coming in after Valenzuela or down the line in this game, he's getting loose awfully early. Mike Ryan down there in the bullpen. He's with the Phillies as a coach.
Might be, Tony, that they're taking this as like a starting assignment. Fouls it off, and I mean by that they need a certain amount of time to get ready, and Seaver is trying to judge it because you just don't know how long an inning will last. Mike Schmidt, first in home runs, second in runs, tied for second game-winning RBIs.
He may be the best athlete in this game all around.
No score, 2 outs. Pete Rose is on at second, 2 balls and 2 strikes to count on Mike Schmidt. He struck him out, a good fastball. And the National League does not score in the top half of the first inning, although Rose got as far as second. We go into the bottom half of the first inning. There is no score. National League, nothing. American League, nothing. And 2 up. Carew, Randolph, and Brett.
Brody, beautiful shot. Municipal Stadium here in Cleveland. 1981 All-Star game. National League defensively. George Foster is in left field, Cincinnati. Andre Dawson, Montreal in center field. Dave Parker, right of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Mike Schmidt is at third base from the Phillies. Concepcion at short. Davey Lopes at second base of the Dodgers. Pete Rose out to first base, 5th position in the All-Star game, as Joe told you. Gary Carter of the Expos behind the plate, and Fernando Valenzuela on the mound from the Dodgers.
There he is. From the baseball standpoint, his pitching coach Ron Paranowski has plenty to say about him as he delivers to Carew outside, ball 1. He says that he can hit either corner with his fastball. He throws a screwball at 2 different speeds. He can come in with the fine curveball. Rod Carew, 2 balls, no strikes. 305 with 2 home runs, 17 runs batted in.
His .333 average last year went overlooked because of Brett's fantastic .390 year.
Up the middle. Tough play for Lopes. He can't make it. Carew is on.
Joe, when you look at the makeup of the 2 starting teams, the American League and the starting lineup appears to have a little more speed, just the starting lineup. Valenzuela a little bit off balance, can't recover. Lopes may have slipped just a little bit. When he didn't catch it cleanly on that hop, he was not going to get Carew anyway. It's a base hit. The first 4 hitters in this lineup, as we look at the replay of Lopes trying to get the ball off the bat of Carew, the first 4 hitters can steal a base.
Willie Randolph, ball 1. Rod Carew. Outside.
Now, if you're an American League hitter, they are hitting off Valenzuela, except from spring training, off reputation. They've heard about his screwball, but that screwball is pretty much a finesse pitch, Joe. And the question is, can Valenzuela control it after like 2 months off? So I don't know. He may go with more fastballs to these guys.
Carew back easily. The official scores for tonight's game, they gave Carew a hit, as we told you. Ray Kelly Jr., the Camden Courier, Dave Nightingale of the Sporting News, and Hank Kozlowski of the Lorraine Journal here in Cleveland.
Carew is getting a good lead off Valenzuela.
Big gap between first and second. There goes Carew. Here's the throw. They got a chance to get him. They got him. Gary Carter just fired a perfect strike. And that's a pretty good commercial right there as to the ability of Gary Carter.
Carew appeared to have a pretty good jump, but Carter got a good fastball high. Carew may have been guessing the screwball was going to be thrown. A good tag by Lopes. Good call by Lou DeMuro.
There's a good picture of a straight steal.
Oh,
Not
beautiful.
once did he look at the batter. Lopes in front of the bag, but they still got him. A base hit for Willie Randolph. Schmidt couldn't get it, neither could Concepcion.
This is an excellent infield to play on. It has always been in good shape. You usually get good bounces. It was covered during the rains. But remember, the National League is used to playing on more artificial surfaces. And a little bit of erratic hops may give them a little bit of trouble. That's a hit all the way, though. Schmidt covered ground like a shortstop from that third base spot.
George Brett. Brett led all the players in balloting with 1,144,000. Randolph with 1 out is on at first base. There's no score. We're in the bottom half of the first inning. Ball 1. Carter ready to throw. He likes to throw. He'll throw to any base.
And Joe, with Brett, as smart a hitter as he is, there is a big gap between Lopes at second and Rose at first base. And if he gets a pitch inside, Brett is going to try and use that hole and pull the ball through. Try and get a first to third going for the American League. Lopes is really cheating up the middle.
Right back to Valenzuela.
Nobody there.
Covered. And Randolph is safe. Valenzuela very alertly held that ball.
Good play, wasn't it? Brett was jammed. He did not get a good jump out of the box. There was a mix-up for this reason. Concepcion said, "I'm taking the throw." And then he ball hit to you, Fernando. He was speaking to him in Spanish. But Concepcion then went for the ball. And Lopes did not get over to cover. Valenzuela very alertly got 1 out, Joe. Good play by the kid. He really kept his head.
He kept looking for somebody at second base. And there's the first indication that some of the guys were not working out during the strike.
That's a fooler, though, Joe, to be honest. Concepcion told Valenzuela, "I will take the throw and I'll ball it back to you." But if the ball gets by Valenzuela, Concepcion's got to go to get it. Davey Lopes was going to back up to play at second and didn't recover to get the tag at second. But Valenzuela made a good play.
He did. Dave Winfield. Man on second base, and you can see what he does with men in scoring position. a .393 hitter, and the man that he wants to drive in is right there, Willie Randolph. Screwball. I think that Carl Hubble, the man who I always associate the screwball with him, he's not sure whether he named it or his catcher, but he calls it a backward curve. His logic is very simple. If you can throw a curveball, why can't you throw a reverse curve? And that's what a screwball is.
Used to be called the outshoot.
There's another one. Mike Schmidt charges hard. In time. So, the first inning is now history. The American League did not score in the bottom half. We complete one inning of play. National League, nothing. American League, nothing. Here in Cleveland, Ohio. A beautiful night for baseball, and we've had an exciting start. An aerial shot of Cleveland Stadium, Municipal Stadium here. It's a big ballpark. It looks like a sellout crowd. In left field, 320. In left center field, it's 357. Going out to 377, 387. Center field, 400. Right center, 385. And right field, 320.
I think it's a very fair park. The hitter's got to hit the ball well in the alleys. Get a home run, the pitcher has a chance also. A lot of foul territory behind home plate. Catch a foul ball. It's a fair ballpark.
It is. And Tony, what a tremendous weekend for Cleveland with the football game last night. Over 70,000. Looks like a sellout. Had a big fight here this afternoon. Foster doesn't get the first one. And a strike one. What can you say?
That's not Angry Puppy there, is it?
No.
Bill Matlock, whom they affectionately called Mad Dog, and his son was on early today. We call him Angry Puppy.
Angry Puppy.
He was the first one out today. He was out early, wasn't he?
Yes, sir. What a proud day it must be for him to go to the All-Star game with Daddy, who's on the team. 1 ball and 1 strike. Brett has it on the big hop. 1 out.
I'll tell you, Joe, the first inning of play, the defense played the game like it's almost mid-season form because we had a heck of a play by Carew, heck of a play by Valenzuela. This play almost handcuffed Brett, but he throws Foster out. It was Bill Verdon from the Houston Astros coaching down at first base.
Here is Andre Dawson. Talk about your good ball players, you better mention this fella's name. It's his first All-Star game. He's a 1980 Gold Glove winner, National League Rookie of the Year in 1977. Pulls it foul. He had his pitch got out in front. He's averaged 22 home runs over the last 3 seasons.
Well, I think that's what makes seeing an All-Star game so interesting. Our statistician, Steve Dans, tonight thinks that Dawson may be the best all-around player in the game right now with his speed, throwing arm, hitting ability for average and power. You get a lot of arguments on that from people, but that's Dan's pick.
Look at the statistics on him. 598 slugging. Off the handle. Carew knocks it down. They'll not get him. It's a base hit. Well, I better wait for the official ruling, but they give him an error. Be some argument. It's a base hit. Dawson is on. It brings up Gary Carter.
A little bit late. Dawson slips on the way out. Randolph thought he might have a play. Morris got over in time to cover, but Willie couldn't recover. And Andre Dawson, a pretty good base stealer.
Gary Carter, who I think is a top catcher in baseball, Tony. If you look at everything, he's a good one.
He is so tough. He's played in an All-Star game before where he played some outfield, in fact.
1 man out. No score, top of the second. Ball 1. Carter was hitting at 245. 7 home runs, 30 runs batted in. 27 years old. He has 133 home runs in his career. That's more than any player his age. There goes the runner. They got a chance. They did not get him.
Carlton Fisk never had a chance. Dawson was so quick. His jump off Jack Morris. Look at the long left leg kick. This does not get a good pitch to throw on. A slider down and away. Boy, that Montreal ball club's exciting. There's another fellow in this game from the Expos. His name is Tim Raines, who may have broken the Lou Brock record with the season canceled for about 2 months. He's going to have to wait for another year, but they can steal in that ball club.
Dawson with a big lead at second base. Curveball, catches it. 2 balls and a strike.
When you look at the hitters, Joe, have some of the deliveries, like off Morris especially, who's more of a power pitcher than Valenzuela, they're flinching a little bit. Maybe an indication that the pitchers are a little bit ahead of them. Of course, these pitchers have only got to go an inning or 2 innings, so they can let it all out.
Popped up. Late. Carew. Randolph. Carew says, I'll take it. Fisk wisely says, go ahead. That's always a sign of a smart catcher, to holler for the infielder.
First thing you learn at catching school, huh?
That's
You
right.
got it.
You got it. You convinced that, guys, because of the glove. Here is Davey Lopes. We rode out to the ballpark with Davey, and Davey was very honest about it. He says he thought that there were others who should be here. I don't deserve it. He said, I don't deserve to be there. Named Manny Trio, Ronnie Oster. This is an outspoken guy.
Flynn, he really did. He said they're 4 or 5. Maybe should start ahead of me.
Ball 1. You know, I always think, I remember the late, great Jack Benny once made a speech and he got an award and he said, I know I don't deserve this, but I have arthritis and I don't deserve that either. And that's the way Lopes feels.
Valenzuela is the scheduled hitter, but Dallas Green, the manager, going along with his theory. He may use a pitcher an inning in this All-Star game unless the pitcher has a 5 or 6 pitch inning. So Joel Youngblood has come on deck. It's an interesting story in itself. Youngblood of the Mets being at this All-Star game. A good first half.
This is 3 balls, no strikes. There
Joel
you see
Youngblood.
Joel Youngblood.
A lot of controversial articles in New York papers. Youngblood has been outspoken. Said, I'm making the All-Star team and may not even start in the outfield. Mookie Wilson out there and Alice Valentine and Lee Mazzilli.
He takes it, draws a base on balls, so that'll bring up Joel Youngblood. He'll be the pinch hitter for Valenzuela. Base runners at first and second. Dawson is on at second. Lopes is on at first.
Youngblood's story has been, I think, a little bit odd, Joe. And he's with Cincinnati. There were so many great players ahead of him. Good minor league stats. He runs well, has a little bit of power. He's hitting for average, as you see, at 359. He's never been able to fit in. Now with Alice Valentine going to the Mets and a youngster Mookie Wilson coming up and Mazzilli a favorite, they can't find a spot for him.
Pops up the first pitch. Rod Carew taking charge in foul territory. He makes the play. So Youngblood pops to Carew in foul territory. That ends it. Now, Davey Lopes, you see walking off, had some problems. But the good hops are easy. Bad hops are tough. You saw one there. We're going to give a tribute to the second baseman who make bad hops look pretty easy. Municipal Stadium in Cleveland. The moon over Cleveland. And it's teed up so high, you have to say, star on the mound. You look down. Limp shot. Tom Seaver. Ken Singleton takes his strike. Seaver's 7-1, 2.07 earned run average, 5 complete games. Fouled out of play. Strike two. This is his 12th season in the All-Star club. He has struck out 15 in the 12 innings that he's worked. Reggie Jackson is the on-deck batter, and there should be some kind of reaction to him, but Reggie's very loose. He's been over there visiting. There you see him, Bob Hope in the background. There he goes, former Commissioner Chandler with the blue cap on. Look out, hit deep to right center field, way back, way back. American League leads. Even with the home run by Singleton, Reggie stepping in the batter's box got the reaction, as you heard in the background, the boos, as Singleton gave him the lead 1-0. Seaver's going to make the play. Look out. It is in time. Nice play by Seaver and Rose.
I'll tell you, Reggie made a nice gesture. When he came into the on-deck circle, as he went by Vice President Bush's box, he gave the Vice President one of his bats. And you can read Bob Hope's lips sitting right next to him saying, "Where's mine, Reggie?" which drew a couple of laughs. Vice President George Bush, along with Baseball Commissioner Bowie Kuhn in the center of your picture. Bob Hope. Mrs. Kuhn in the back. Happy Chandler.
What an amazing guy. We visited
83, isn't he?
83 years old, and he's playing golf, and he can't shoot his age. He's shooting in the 70s yet.
Oh.
He shot 79 the other night. The other day, he told me. This is Carlton Fisk. Ball one. Married 56 years. Vibrant. He was visiting with everybody.
You think this guy right here didn't help revitalize that White Sox franchise quickly? Home run up in Boston, beat his old team. He has really helped out. Fisk has that young White Sox pitching staff.
1 ball and 1 strike. 1-0, the American League leading on a home run by Ken Singleton. Foul tipped and got a little nick of Gary Carter. Singleton in April. What a year, what a month. Wow, I mean, he had a great year that month. Started to say 25 for 53 at 472. He was the player of the month. And he gives the American League a lead 1-0 with the home run. Seaver faces Fisk. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on.
Fisk takes a lot of time getting in the batter's box, as you've seen. Also, he takes a lot of time calling pitches. When he's behind the plate, you usually see long ball games.
Good pitch. He got it. Good pitch. Seaver nicked the outside corner. Fisk is out on strikes. So there are 2 away. It brings up Bucky Dent. There's Bill Madlock, the Mad Dog, and his son, Angry Puppy.
Phil Garner, member of the Pirates, who also made the All-Star team.
Line drive, base hit. Bucky Dent singles to right field.
You know, several of the players in this All-Star game was criticized as selections like Jackson and Lopes and Bucky Dent, but I think it's unfair to say to Bucky Dent, there may be more sensational shortstops in the American League, a Trammell or a Yount, Earlson, but he is as steady as they come, and you don't win as many pennants as the Yankees have without a guy like this.
Here is Tom Paciorek from the Seattle Mariners. Having a good year, 5 home runs, 31 runs batted in, hitting .328. It's his first All-Star game. 7 game-winning RBIs, which puts him 4th in the American League. Hot smash, Schmidt can't come up with it. Into left field, Bucky Dent's heading for 3rd. He'll make it.
You just had a chance to see how fielders who are used to fielding an artificial surface, when they get on dirt and grass, and Schmidt is a great fielding third baseman, but he let the ball play him. He's used to that ball getting to him much more quickly, Joe, off the turf. His charge is got to be there.
They gave him a hit.
Yeah, not a question. Mike looked like he may have gotten his feet tangled up, and then instead of backhanding the ball, he lets it get by him. But I really believe that on artificial surface, the ball getting to him more quickly, he's going to have it. He let the ball play him.
Here's Rod Carew. He had an infield hit his first time up. There are 2 outs. 0-1. Rod Carew has 4 different stances. Big chaw to back in his mouth, and that serves a purpose. Hits it in front of the plate. Seaver says, "I'll take it." It is in time. Carew dribbled one in front of the plate. Seaver gets him, ends the inning. We complete 2 innings of baseball here. The score, the American League won on a home run by Singleton. And there's the man who put the number on the scoreboard. Ken Singleton gets a tremendous ovation. End of 2, 1-0. And Lem Barker's going out to the mound. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Well, Pete Rose needs 141 to catch Aaron, 1 to pass Musial, over 500 to catch Cobb. We asked him if he can still do it.
No, because I stayed real sharp during the strike, and sure, I'm going to miss the 50-some games, but who's to say I wouldn't have got a broken wrist the next game if we hadn't went on a strike? So if it's in the books for me to beat Ty Cobb's record, it's in the books. If it isn't, I won't beat it. Simple as that.
I tell you,
concise, Goody.
he makes it very simple. Len Barker on the mound. Barker, who pitched that perfect game against Toronto on May 15th of 1981, delivers his first pitch. Listen.
Len Barker leads the American League in strikeouts, earned run average for starters. And the Toronto hitters tell me that perfect game he pitched, his breaking pitch absolutely exploded, Jody. He's a hard thrower aside from that.
It's interesting when you talk to scouts. Scouts say he's very fast, but he's very straight, but his curveball is what really makes a believer out of you. Here we go again. We've had an interference on the...
Is that the kissing bandit?
That's Morgana.
Who has kissed George Brett, Frank Howard, a number of others. With all the security in this ballpark, many of it was Secret Service people, local police for the vice president, she somehow got through.
Bob Hope enjoying it. The commissioners are having a meeting and Bob Hope's laughing. That tells you something. Look at Hope. He's got about 7 lines. He wants to get a microphone and deliver them, and I don't blame him. Concepcion takes a strike. Concepcion was out on strikes his first time up.
Barker, he has a very deceptive delivery. He has that pause before he goes into his kick, then he pauses again at the top, and that knee kick, he really hides the ball well. And then he comes at you. He gets the ball to the plate in a hurry. Dave Duncan, the pitching coach for Beaver, calls his breaking ball a slurve. There it was.
One ball, 2 strikes. The fans will tell you what he's doing. The fans love Len Barker. Now we've got Barker against Parker. You know, Barker's had control problems, and he had one famous pitch ended up on the screen.
If these pitchers can get their breaking stuff over the plate like Barker is right now, these hitters might have a long day. They're not ready for sharp breaking stuff yet.
What's the reaction if he gets a strike on him? Nothing. American League, top of the third, 2 strikes on Dave Parker, and the crowd is really reacting to their hometowner, Len Barker. Listen to him. One ball, 2 strikes.
Parker facing the 2-time National League batting champ, Dave Parker. He won it in 77 and 78.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 3rd inning. American League 1, National League nothing. When a pitcher releases the ball, you expect to catch it. Barker released one. You don't always catch it. Watch this. This crowd really reacted to Barker. I wonder what the reaction was in that great strikeout streak that Carl Hubble had. What batters he had to face. 1934 All-Star Game, the American League had the power. The National League had the man on the left, Carl Hubble, the starting pitcher. He struck out 5 in a row, including Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox. 5 in a row. 1934 All-Star Game belonged to Carl Hubble, and it's a game fans will never forget. How that must have built up. The new pitcher is Bob Knepper. 5-1, 1.15 earned run average, and we have a new second baseman.
Bob Knepper, a power pitcher. Most of this staff, as we look now at Manny Trio, last year's most valuable player in the National League Championship Series. You might remember the relay throws he made in that Championship Series and the World Series. He has one of the quickest, strongest arms of almost any second baseman I've ever seen.
He's one of those guys that when he gets the ground ball, he makes you run the whole distance. He's not a career saver. Some guys throw you out 4 feet from home plate, which may save maybe 2-3 miles in the course of a career. Trio makes you run it all the way out and then flips it with that quick flip of the wrist, and it's there. That flashback in All-Star games really bring back some memories. What a streak that was when we saw Ruth, Gehrig, and Fox, and then Al Simmons, Joe Cronin.
Joe Cronin, former American League president in the Hall of Fame, might have been mad at you if you hadn't included him. He's probably down in Florida, isn't he? I didn't see him around up here.
No, I didn't see him here.
What a marvelous player he must have been. What a hitter. National League leaders in earned run. The man on the mound right now, Bob Knepper. He says that his success this year, he's regained his breaking stuff and he could get it over the plate whenever he wanted to before the strike, and he was concerned that he may lose that after the 2-month layoff.
Willie Randolph leads it off here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Randolph singled his first time up. Ball 1. Randolph hitting .400 as an All-Star. Bob Knepper, this is his first All-Star game. One ball, one strike.
You'd better throw strikes to Randolph. He led the league last year in walks. You're all greedy. I guess that means us, doesn't it? Television, players, owners, you name it. We're all greedy.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
But the reception here has absolutely been marvelous, I think, for this All-Star game.
Nobody out. Curveball misses. I got to say, Tony, that with the reaction it went here, it had to be the quickest makeup in romantic history. I know one game is not a test, but you gotta go
yeah.
that baseball is back. Out on strikes. Here is George Brett. Brett tapped in front of the plate his first time up.
I think surprisingly, when we were in Kansas City about a week ago, George Brett told us that he never picked up a bat till the strike was over with. Played golf, rode some horses. Said it would take him 7 days to 10 days to be ready to hit.
Well, his manager said he could hit buckshot with barbed wire. And if you can do that, you don't have to practice too much. Takes it outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Two nothing pitch. Outside. Before the game, George Brett was honored by Mr. Sam Shell of Gillette as the top vote getter. 3 balls and no strikes. And there you see it. The trophy they received. It's a strike. 1-0 is the score. A home run by Ken Singleton. The American League is out in front. And we hope you're enjoying this telecast. It's been a long time coming. 3 balls, 1 strike. There are so many people that you'd like to mention that you think about, but there are a couple special folks. Drew Olmeyer, we know you're watching. Susan Bresnan, who usually is here, from our NBC staff. Shad Mason, a good friend of Pee Wee Reese, all in the hospital. Hope you're enjoying it as much as we are. Brett's not enjoying it. That was a good curveball, and out on strikes he goes. That's 2 strikeouts for Bob Knepper.
Well, Knepper said before the game he was a little concerned of being able to throw his breaking ball, and he goes 3-2 and really snaps one off on Brett. You can see George just freezes. Low and away, Carter holds the target, and he just hit it.
Tony, when they throw a curveball that hard in that spot, all you can do is genuflect. Well, is it deja vu? We just finished with Hubble, and here's Knepper with 2 strikeouts, Randolph and Brett. Dave Winfield. Big guy almost went for it, took it high outside. Ball 1.
It was some sight about 3 hours before the ball game. There's Jim Fry, the American League manager, when Dave Winfield's kids came in, about 1,000 strong in the left field bleachers. The Winfield Foundation paid for about 1,000 Cleveland area kids to come to this ballpark, and there must have been more than a dozen, way more than a dozen players from both leagues go out to the left field bleachers to chat with these kids. Dallas Green. Looks like lefty Steve Carlton looking at the lineup, seeing when he might go in, and probably a Secret Service man.
If he's not watching the game, he's a Secret Service man. They're all over the ballpark. Vice President Bush is here. 2 balls and 1 strike. Winfield bounced out his first time up. 40 RBIs, on base percentage 403.
He is already following a lot of Charlie Lau's theories of hitting, moved off the plate, trying to use the entire field more. Average has gone up.
He didn't get it. 2 balls and 1 strike. I think the thing that has surprised most people who had not seen Winfield play is his base running ability and his defensive playing. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Three balls and 2 strikes.
Winfield is one of those players who, if you look at sheer stats, batting average, home runs over the year, you can get fooled because he has never had really impressive lifetime stats. And I'll tell you one thing, when you look at what you call them constants, the way he can go from first to third, steal a base, score from second, one of the greatest throwing arms in the game, capable of playing center field as he is tonight. The way he breaks up double plays, there's his boss. Boss
George
man.
Steinbrenner, Mrs. Steinbrenner.
Give it an interview.
3 balls, 2 strikes. He didn't get him. It didn't break. Winfield draws a base on balls. It brings up Ken Singleton, who will bat right-handed this time up. He hit the home run to give the American Leaguers the 1-0 lead. A steady ball player. Both his ankles are taped, Singleton, because he has the Achilles problems. With Winfield leading off first. Bouncing ball, Nepper, a nice play. He's going to get him, and he does. So, it completes the inning at the end of 3 complete innings here in Cleveland. The score, the American League 1, the National League nothing. Schmidt, Foster, and Dawson coming up.
Baseball's very special guest at this All-Star game, the Vice President of the United States, Mr. George Bush, who captained a Yale team that made it to the World Series. Is it true you were a good field no-hit?
I'm afraid so, yeah. Yeah. No, once in a while I hit one.
What's your opinion of the caliber of play tonight? Just the rest of this show?
Listen, well, there's 1 or 2 little things, but I think it's great they're back. There's some damn good ball out here tonight, and I think it's wonderful.
I think I already know the answer to this question. Who are you pulling for?
Well, I come from Houston, so I'm a National League fan.
I confess to being surprised. Mr. Vice President, thanks for joining us. Let's go back up to Joe and Tony.
Okay, Brian. Good field no-hit, the Vice President, Mr. George Bush. Here's Mike Schmidt.
Oh, he just blew that ball right by Schmitty. I mean, we don't have a gun up here, a radar gun of any kind. That's got to be 93.4, maybe 5.
Hey, we have something we're going to show you how they used to measure pitchers. Didn't have the radar gun. But listen to this reaction as Barker comes. 1 ball and 1 strike. That's what it looks like from way up there in the sky.
Schmidt with that slightly closed stand, moved off the plate about a year and a half ago. It's a beautiful shot, wasn't it?
You could see his stance and you could see his stride and how he put his body into motion with that shot. Barker missed. 2 balls and 1 strike. Watch him go into motion. Bucky Dent. 1 out.
Now there's a play that some shortstops might have made a little more sensational, but look how much ground he covers. He was playing Schmidt a little bit in the hole to pull, took 5-6 steps, gathered the ball with 2 hands. Some guys might have made that with 1 hand. I said, what a great play. And he made a play look easy. That really was not that easy. It's a good infield, Joe, because it's one of the deepest cut infields in the American League. And if you've got a good arm and good quickness, you can play deeper and get to more balls.
You've just heard from the Will Rogers of baseball.
Oh, yeah,
I never saw a shortstop I didn't like.
That's right.
Here's George Boston. What a curveball that was. That backed him right out of there. Strike 1. George has got to have a meeting with himself after that curveball, and I don't blame him. This time it's Willie Randolph. And they're 2 away.
Sawed the bat off right in George Foster's hands. Got a fastball up and on the fist and jammed it. You might have noticed the difference in the American Leaguers also on that, playing on dirt and grass, how much more Willie Randolph charged that ball than Schmidt did. In fact, that man, Willie Randolph, holds the assist record for an All-Star game with 6.
Here's Andre Dawson. He had a base hit and stole a base in the 2nd inning. 1-0. We're in the 4th inning. The American League's out in front. A home run by Singleton. Nice low target. Look at that. Sawed it off down the line. A foul ball. They're just not getting around on Mr. Barker.
He's had the good breaking ball tonight. That was a fastball that he ran into the fists of Dawson. Barker will not throw too many off-speed pitches. He'll show it to you once in a while, but he is hard curveball that his pitching coach Dave Duncan says starts breaking from his hand and never stops.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, nobody on. 1-0 American League leading. 4th inning. Bucky Dent once again. He's got it. 1, 2, 3, and Bucky Dent handles 2 of the 3 innings. You know, the shortstop territory is a lot of territory. They covered many different ways. Watch some of these great plays at shortstop. We have a change here. Dusty Baker is going in to play left field for the National League. And the little boy in Baker comes out as he blows the big bubble. And Dwight Evans will be the pinch hitter for Reggie Jackson. You talk about all-star voting and guys that belong. Here's a fella who did not finish in the top 16 in the votes. Ball 1, but what statistics he has for the year. That's first in batting, first in slugging, first on base, first in walks, second, third, fourth. He's having a tremendous year.
Well, he could be heading for an MVP season, although it's a shortened season, obviously. With the help of Walt Ridiak, who is a Charlie Loud disciple. Evans has really become a good hitter. He was a good hitter in the second half of last year. He had a bunch of home runs, drove in a bunch of runs, and Ralph Houk getting up there. Said you're hitting 1, 2, 3 for me because your on-base percentage is good.
He draws the base on ball, so Evans is on. And he's in the game as a base runner. Came via the pinch hitter, but the fans vote, and if there are certain fellas that the fans want to see, they put them on the ball club, and there are fans who have to pay the price and hope that they get picked by the manager. In this case, Evans was. But it's the fans' game.
Joe Dallas Green, the National League manager, talked about using 1 pitcher in each inning, but he has 9 on his staff, and there's always the threat of an extra inning game or an injury. So Knepper right now is going 2 innings.
Here's Carlton Fisk. He struck out his first time up off the end of the bat, strike 1.
He was trying to hit that gap between Trio and Rose out to right field. Knepper, when he pulls the string on that sinking fastball, it almost looks like a screwball. The ball really tailed away from Fisk.
And a good fielder's a good fielder, Tony. That ball went in the American League dugout, and Buddy Bell just reached over and got it barehanded. Boy, was it good to see his father, Gus Bell, the former major leaguer here. Old teammate of mine. There's Reggie Jackson, Rod Carew watching it.
Tony Armas.
Randolph.
The Goose is not eligible for this game. He had a little shoulder stiffness, so he was replaced by his teammate next to him, RD Ron Davis.
Popped up. Short right field. Parker coming hard. He's there. Makes the play. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. Joe Garagiola with Tony Kubek here in Cleveland's Municipal Stadium, where there's one out in the bottom of the fourth inning. The American League is out in front, 1-0. A home run by Ken Singleton. Gorman Thomas has come out in the on-deck circle as Bucky Dent steps into the batter's box. It's a strike. Bucky singled his first time up. There's Gorman Thomas. A pretty good ball player, Tony.
Oh, man, he will claw at you and crawl through a wall to catch a ball. Good outfielder, good arm. Good hitter with men on base.
Pull foul past Don Zimmer, coaching at third. There's the National League dugout. Warren Spahn,
Tim Raines,
Ozzie Smith.
I tell you,
Youngblood.
if I were managing a team, I'd like to have the feet and the legs of a Tim Raines on the bench for late in the ball game, wouldn't you? Pinch run and get in scoring position in a hurry. Pedro Guerrero.
Two strikes to count on Bucky Dent. He tomahawks it down the line. It'll be extra bases. Evans is digging hard. He'll stop at third. It's a double for Bucky Dent. Nice play. Pete Rose backing it up. The ball got by. Trio Schmidt, and look where Rose came from.
That does not look like that much of a play with what you just mentioned, Rose. But if Rose isn't there to back it up, that meant Carter would have had to leave home plate and get the play and might have allowed Evans to score. Show you how Rose is in the ball game. Evans tripped and fouled around second base, but I don't know if he'd have scored anyway because Baker got the ball back in a hurry.
Rose is always around the ball as we look at the play. Baker plays it off the wall.
Plays it very well in a strange ballpark, and then hits his cutoff man, his relay man, Concepcion.
Gorman Thomas hitting .429 with men in scoring position. This fella has hit more home runs in the last 3 seasons, 115, than any other player. And that, of course, includes Mike Schmidt, who has 114, and Jim Rice with 109. But all you hear about is his strikeouts.
Infield now for the National League, about halfway for Thomas on the left side, in on the grass on the right side.
1 strike. Gorman Thomas.
You know, a left-handed pitcher like Nepper pitching to a right-handed power hitter with 1 out and first base open with a left-handed crew up. Will that show you the kind of respect you have for Rodney?
Makes a difference.
Nepper may not be ordered intentionally to walk Gorman, but he may be throwing him a lot of breaking stuff.
He pops it up in the infield. Manny Trios says, I'll take it. He's battling. He's got it. So Thomas pops up. And there are 2 outs.
Don Zimmer, the Texas Rangers manager, formerly of Boston, will show you Dwight Evans on that double in the left field corner by Bucky Dent. Watch after he hits the bag. There's Trio going to back up the relay man Concepcion. Evans falters right there, and look at Rose in the back. He is already sensing the play. As soon as Dent rounded first, he was going back up the play, which may have saved a run for the National League.
Here is Rod Carew, time being called. Carew's got an interesting theory on why he puts such a big chaw of tobacco in his mouth. I can't argue with it, but it is different. He sticks a gum with it, takes it low, ball 1. He says what it does, it pulls his skin tight so he can't squinch his eye. That means more of the eye on the ball if you don't squinch.
Are you going to get into the left-handed left cheek and right cheek chewing now? I'll tell you, they're very alert. Schmidt is playing very deep at third, and Carew can drop a bunt down and beat it out.
Makes a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. He's hitting .700 in this ballpark this season. It's a good park for him. Every swing by this guy is a hitting clinic. Look at that concentration. He taps it foul. He's just watching Nepper all the way. There's not a squinch in the carload as he looks at him.
It might be unusual for Rod Carew to bunt. There are 2 outs. The count 2-1. But he's got a left-handed pitcher, a tough left-hander, and Schmidt is daring him to drop the ball down. And Rodney is absolutely magnificent at controlling the ball down that third baseline. Look where Schmidt's playing. He's saying, I dare you, bunt. You want to score the run with a bunt with 2 outs? Go ahead.
It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. They're changing it, Tony. That's what Bill Haller is doing. The scoreboard has 2-1.
1-2.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Haller had just called time. There he is indicating it again. Good fastball. He missed it. They ask and they say no. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 4th inning, 1-0 American League leading.
An appeal or request of an appeal by Carter was to the third base umpire Bob Engel of the National League. There's Dent. He's at second after a double. Evans is at third. Good call.
He got him. Nepper, a big strikeout. That's his third strikeout. That ends the inning. It's 1-0. The American League out in front. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. As he hovers over the All-Star game here in Cleveland, and it looks like a capacity crowd. And so far, it's 1-0 the American League after 4.
The game originally scheduled. There is Dwight Evans, who stays in the ball game. He walked pinch hitting. New pitcher for the American League, Ken Forsch, getting the signal straight with Carlton Fisk. You know that guy. You batted against him. I did too.
And what he's doing, Warren Spahn, is taking some bench jockeying, indicating, don't be getting on me about my nose, as he motioned with his elbow.
Now he's a pitching coach, isn't he, for the Angels in the minor leagues?
Angels farm system, that's right, Warren Spahn. So Ken Forsch against Gary Carter. Forsch allowed 2 earned runs in his last 27 innings pitched. Well hit, deep to left field, Singleton going back. We are tied.
Hung a slider, just stayed up and in for Carter, didn't it?
Nice job. Baby. Nice job.
Fastball is inside the Manny Trio. Gary Carter, at age 27, we told you, has 133 home runs in his career, more than any player his age in the major leagues. And he has just tied it up with a home run here. Trio fouls it off.
Well, Gary Carter did not let Ken Forsch even get his feet on the ground as we look at it. I think it was a slider, high and tight. Carlton Fisk wanted to reach out there and grab his bat or grab the ball before he could swing. It just stayed right there.
Tony, that looked like one of those pitchers as he catches you hollering, oh no, as soon as it's released. Foul ball. This is the first appearance for Forsch in Municipal Stadium. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. National League bench, Concepcion is Gary Carter behind him, putting on the tools. And Petey Rose, there you see him. Right field, Evans is there. And we're going to have a pinch hitter come on for the pitcher, Nepper. Terry Kennedy has come out of the National League dugout.
You think Pops is proud right now, Bob? Formerly the Cubs general manager. This is a big guy. He's got some power. He has a great throwing arm. Has a chance to be an excellent player, Joe. He's got a lot of tools.
I saw a scouting report by one scout that I really respect, and he simply put on his report, he can play. He has 60 base hits in 50 games this season. This is his first All-Star game. Hits the first pitch, and Willie Randolph is there, and he's going to be an easy out this time. Gary Carter's home run is tied it up here in the 5th.
Randolph's 4th assist. If he stays in this ball game, we told you he holds the assist record for an All-Star game for second baseman at 6.
Here is Pete Rose. Rose, who set another record tonight by playing 5th position in the All-Star game. You heard him say that he thinks he can still get Ty Cobb's record.
Well, he needs 561. Means he will have to be, what, about 43 years old by the time he gets it?
Ball 1 to Pete Rose. He says the only thing he has to prove now that he's not too old. Pete Rose, an amazing, amazing athlete. Low.
Little
There's
Petey.
young Petey watching his father. I think Jim Murray had a great line on him. Jim Murray writes for the Los Angeles Times. He says Pete's not going to die of old age. He's going to die of prolonged boyhood. He's got such enthusiasm with everything he does. He comes running out of the dugout.
He had his agent check during the strike to see if he could go from playing Japan just so he could play. Worked out about 3 hours a day playing tennis, hitting in a batting cage.
Willie Randolph once again. And that ends the inning, but Gary Carter's home run ties it up. We go into the bottom half of the 5th inning, and it's 1-1. Gary Carter hit a home run. But if I said to you 1946 All-Star game, you would think of maybe a home run, but I'm sure you think of an eephus pitch by Rip Sewell. Ted Williams liked it. Watch this. Fenway Park, Boston. Ted Williams against Rip Sewell, and there it is, the eephus pitch. Williams looks at the first one. Here comes another one, and there it goes. The eephus pitch ends up in the bullpen. And what a hitting exhibition the American League put on that day, including 2 home runs by Ted Williams. The final score, American League 12, National League nothing.
Tony Kubek, Joe Garagiola, Cleveland's Municipal Stadium for the All-Star game. Beautiful shot from the blimp. This game was a sellout. July 14th originally. Some seats are returned because of a lot of the problems, but we've got a near sellout here tonight. Steve Garvey has gone to first base to replace Pete Rose. A new pitcher has come in. Bert Hooton of the Dodgers. Hooton will bat in Rose's #1 spot.
Bob Feller is coaching at first base, and Bob Feller, he could fire that ball. That's all I can say about him, simply enough. They have always tried to measure the speed of the pitchers. Here is Bob Feller loosening up. Here's a target he has to throw to. Today we have the radar gun. In that day they had a motorcycle rider. See him on the right? He was going over 90 miles an hour. Who wins the race? The ball wins it. The tough thing about that was to get a volunteer to ride that motorcycle. That was tough. Here is Willie Randolph. Hits the first pitch, a big hopper to Mike Schmidt. Garvey takes it. There's 1 out. What a way to measure a fastball. There's Bob Feller coaching at first base.
See, he was involved in that, what was it, 48 World Series with that pickoff play. You know what year that was? Where, well, it was a non-pickoff play at second base. They ended up losing the ball game 1-0.
Phil Macy. It was Feller to Boudreaux. George Brett. Makes it high, ball 1. Bottom of the 5th inning. National League 1, a home run by Gary Carter. American League 1, a home run by Ken Singleton. He doesn't get it.
Looked like the knuckle curve. Bert Hooton has come up with a pretty good straight change of pace to go with that fastball. He's not overpowering, but he's got that tricky knuckle curve that really goes down. With that straight change he's got now, he's really something.
There's his strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Let's watch.
So many more players now, George, moving farther away from the plate, I think, and using the whole field to hit it, even power hitters.
Well, Carew's explanation is he can see the ball longer. Brett the same way. When he first came up, they had to break him from being a pull hitter who modeled himself after Yastrzemski holding the bat high. Got him to hold that bat down.
The keys to success, he really relaxes and waits.
He doesn't get it. It's a strikeout, so that brings up Dave Winfield. This telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Winfield is 0 for 1. He bounced out and he walked.
We've seen a good show till this point. American League leading the National League with 6 hits to 3. The score tied at 1.
As ball misses, ball 1. Most people seem to think this was going to be a high-scoring game.
Did you?
No, I didn't. I kept reading about 10-9 games, 8-7s.
You got to believe the pitchers have got the edge.
Well hit center field, but Dawson's right there waiting for it. Plays it perfectly. Hooten has a perfect inning. 3 up, 3 down. We complete 5 innings of baseball here. We're all tied up. National League 1, the American League 1. And 2 up, it's Concepcion, Parker, and Schmidt.
Joined now by Commissioner Bowie Kuhn. Commissioner, the playoff format as it stands now, you're going to have some changes for us tomorrow? Is that the rumor?
We'll have an announcement tomorrow on the only limited to the situation where you get a same club winning both halves. And we'll announce that there'll be a home field advantage for the 2-time winner as against the wild card club.
Is the change because of the criticism that the format had attracted, or just a rethinking of it?
No, it's not a rethinking at all. When we announced that we would go to the split season, we said that the league presidents and the commissioner would resolve the question of what home field advantage should be given. I met with the league presidents today. We made our mind what it's going to be. We'll announce to our clubs tomorrow morning, announce to the public tomorrow afternoon.
You've got to be pleased with the crowd.
I love the crowd. I love the game. I love all about it.
Good enough. Let's go back upstairs. Joe?
Okay, Brian. Thank you, Commissioner. As we look at Mike Norris, the new pitcher for the American League from Billy Martin's Oakland A's. 8-3 is his record. And at third base, we've got a new one. Buddy Bell of the Texas Rangers, but he broke in here at Cleveland, so he's a big favorite. A lot of controversy when he moved on.
Bell would bat 9th. Norris will bat in the number 3 spot as Brett leaves the game.
Here's Dave Concepcion. He is 0 for 2. Struck out, bounced out. 1-1's the score. Strike 1.
Joe, there's been a lot of media criticism, and it appears like a lot of loopholes in the proposed split season. One's batted in. You can see Concepcion, number 2, behind his teammate George Foster. In fact, I'd heard a rumor that
Buddy Bell gets it. 1 out.
And it is only a rumor, but it occurred around the batting cage. And there's really, in my mind, no validity at this point that there's a chance, as we look at the replay from our left center field camera, the bat of Concepcion to Bell. The rumor was that because the owners now, after setting up the split season schedule, thought a little more, and there were some inequities built in, and the chance for improprieties down at the other end of the schedule, that they might call an emergency meeting within 24 hours of today to change. But that is strictly a rumor at this point. But there are some, there could be some problems with a split schedule season. Could be.
Curveball is high, and it's ball 1. Top half of the 6th inning, all tied at 1 apiece. Didn't get it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Reggie Jackson, Tom Pashori, the American League bench. A good crowd on hand. There you see him.
Norris with that good screwball. There it was.
Off the end of the bat, it's going to be tough, but it rolls foul. Norris was second in the Cy Young voting last year to Steve Stone. Has a very unique delivery, I think, Tony, in that he's on the third base side of that rubber. He kind of stops right in the middle of his motion, and then almost, he gives you the feeling he's jumping at you.
You remember when Alvin Dark managed the A's, and he brought Mike Norris up as a very young kid in his late teens, and he just overpowered hitters and really helped that Oakland A's ball club. Then he hurt his arm. Many people thought he was finished. He went to the minors, gained control. His fastball came back, and he learned that screwball.
He's got a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well hit, deep to right center field, way back, home run, National League leads. Mike Schmidt, as we listen in on the National League bench, he went around. Schmidt is 0 for 2 so far.
Norris tried to sneak a fastball by him. He turned it around, didn't he? Parker
certainly did. Line drive off the glove of Bell. Base hit. Schmidt really tomahawked it. He's got himself a 2-base hit. High breaking ball, and he went after it.
Bell almost comes up with a super play. I think he's the best at his position at third base, Buddy Bell. He was playing well off the line for Schmidt and almost caught it.
Dave Garcia, his former manager, said he's the best in the world. Here is Baker. First time at bat in this game. First All-Star game. Outside, ball 1.
Joe, you've got to wonder if you look at the makeup of the two pitching staffs. The National League appears to have more power pitchers on their staff than the American League. And those finesse pitchers, which the American League has more of, maybe a little more difficult to control. What a play.
Buddy Bell.
Oh, boy.
What a play. He's got Schmidt. Beautiful play by Buddy Bell.
I mean, there was no playing the hop on this one. From our left center field camera, Harry Carl gets to the shot. In between hop, he was going to look Schmidt back. Schmidt made a little bit of a base running error. Violated the Cardinals, sent a ball to the left. You don't go over. Bell makes a super play. He had no chance at all.
Boy, I'll tell you, for you young fellas who want to play the infield, that's the way you do it. You get in front of that ball. Had he not come up with that ball, he still would have kept it in the infield. But he came up with it, he looked the man back, and he trapped him.
He couldn't get out from the front of that
Oh,
thing. That
yes,
was a rocket. That was a rocket.
Hey, you've seen those guys do that, old Ray.
That was a beautiful play.
That was a great play. You get some of those guys with a long-term contract, and they'll flag it. Hi, how are you? See you on your way back. Beautiful play. Baker's on at first. This is Dawson. Didn't get it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The play that Bell made, you had a chance to see why he's won 2 consecutive Gold Gloves in the American League. And there was a very quick cameraman to get that shot.
Two balls and a strike with 2 outs. National League 2, American League 1, all home runs. Parker has just broken a 1-1 tie, which was set up. A home run by Singleton gave the American League the lead in the 2nd. Carter with a home run tied it up in the 5th, and Parker here in the 6th has just broken a tie. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Andre Dawson.
Andre wants to look at the ball. You probably have heard that some people have accused Billy Martin's staff of doctoring a baseball, and that baby went down. Good movement on that ball. Good sinker.
He's really checking it.
Oh, Andre wouldn't see it. Bill Heller checked it out.
He said it was dry.
But anytime a staff gets as successful as this staff has, Billy Martin and Art Fowler, the pitching coach, are going to accuse you of something.
That foul. A fan came with a net The biggest thrill in baseball, a foul ball, and he just reached down with that net. He could catch Moby Dick with that net. He got himself a foul ball. Look at the size of that thing. All right. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yes, sir. Baseball is back. The fans are ready. Out on strikes with the runner breaking. Parker gives the lead to the National League 2-1, but Parker in 1979, if you remember, gave us some thrills with some throws. Remember the Kingdome in Seattle? The Kingdome in Seattle, and Dave Parker puts his arm on display. A tremendous throw to third base. It's not even close. And then Parker came back later on this base hit. He uncorks his throw all the way to home plate on the fly, but watch the tag by Carter. He's got it. The call is made. Another thrill from the All-Star Game 1979 version. Joe Garagiola with Tony Kubek here in Cleveland, where Mike Easler has just gone in to play right field for the National League, and Ozzie Smith is going in to play for the National League at shortstop. Ozzie Smith from San Diego and Easler from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Singleton takes it high.
Easler, a local boy, Cleveland born and raised.
2 balls and no strikes. Singleton had a big home run, gave the American League the lead in the 2nd inning. He gets his second base hit, sends it right back up the middle.
Houghton pitching to Ken Singleton. Tried to sink a ball down, got it about belt high. Kenny was really going for the pump on that one. He was trying to let it all out.
He's just a good ball player, Singleton, a solid hitter. One of the better kept secrets in baseball. Here's his swing as he sends it right back up the middle.
Well, there have not been too many 3-4 switch hitters like Singleton and Murray that the Orioles have who have produced as much as those 2 guys.
Base hit to right field for Evans. Easler up with it. Singleton tops at second. The American League's got something going.
Just had a chance to see the new Dewey Evans. He is a much smarter hitter. He was going the opposite way, so he wouldn't get into a double play, shooting for the gap. He's no longer trying to pull everything.
So the American League with base runners at first and second. Nobody out. Carlton Fisk, the batter. Fisk struck out in his second and flying to right in the fourth. And we thank the great folks here at Cleveland for that special welcome. We've enjoyed our stay here. They've had all kinds of activity. This town is alive. Good football team, good basketball, good soccer, good baseball. A lot of activity, and what an all-star game they're being treated to.
Schmidt and Garvey at the corners for the National League are playing in close in the event that Fisk bunts. Dent is the next hitter, but there are pinch hitters ready. A guy like Fred Lynn is loosening up right now in case Fisk drops one down. And remember, these hitters are not used to getting strange signals from the various coaches. Don Zimmer, the manager of Texas, the coach down at third base, he'll be flashing the signs to Fisk. And Singleton at second, Evans at first.
Fisk has backed out a couple times, which was an indication he wasn't sure of it.
Hitting,
bunted foul. And a strike 1.
Fans don't like it. All-Star game, they're giving a little second guess by their boos to Jimmy Fry, the manager. They want Fisk to hit away, I think, which he might do right now with 1 strike.
Well, Fry said that he was going in the late innings. He was just going to play to win this thing. They haven't won since 1971 when Reggie Jackson hit that tremendous and memorable home run off Doc Ellis in Detroit.
National League has won 17 of the last 18 All-Star games. They have really dominated.
1 strike pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Happy Hoot. Singleton at second. Evans is on at first. Dave Garcia, the Cleveland manager, you see coaching at first.
Schmidt is still in at third.
It's a strike. Shortened up as if the bunt took it, but it caught the corner. There's Mike Schmidt.
He will now move
back up.
Okay, that's a pretty good left side of the infield right now with Schmidt as agile as he is. And I really believe the man playing shortstop right now, the center upper part of your picture, Ozzie Smith, is the best defensive shortstop in all of baseball. He is amazing. Never gotten much credit. There's some good ones. Boa, I think Boa should be here for all he's done.
1-2 pitch. Looper, right field. Eastler can't get it. Drops for a base hit, and they're loaded. The bases are loaded. And Jim Fry is looking for a pinch hitter. It'll be Fred Lynn. The bases are loaded. And Fred Lynn will be the pinch hitter for Bucky Dent. Nobody out. Bottom of the sixth. National League, 2 runs, 5 hits, and no errors. The American League, 1 run, 9 hits, and no errors. But the American League has a merry-go-round going.
Joe, I think it's always a thrill to come out and see pre-game batting practice, any ball game, but especially at the All-Star game, where all the sluggers in this game, like the Winfields and the Fosters and the Parkers and the Jacksons, put on a show. And I watched Lynn, and he's obviously been lifting weights. There's Dallas Green. He's going to leave Hooten in at this point. But Lynn kept up with all these guys. He was hitting the ball out of sight in batting practice.
He looks strong, Tony. The base is loaded. Bottom of the 6th inning. American League trailing by a run. No one out.
National League defense playing for the double play with a 1-run lead.
Bouncing ball. Creel gets it and safe.
Trail has exceptional range to his left. Lynn doesn't get a good break out of the box. Not hit well. Trio then trying to regain his balance, gets the ball stuck in his glove. With that quick arm, he just couldn't get. Lynn as the tying run comes in.
There you see it again. He tried to get it, but just missed him. Buddy Bell with the bases loaded, who leads the American League with 42 RBIs, takes it outside, ball 1. We are all tied up, 2 apiece. This is Bell's first appearance at bat. High. 2 balls, no strikes. Time is called now as Carter wants to visit with Hooten. Because you know, if that ball is in that strike zone, Bell's going to go to work. And we've got an on-deck pinch hitter coming up. That's how the bases look when they're loaded from the sky.
Starting to overthrow, trying to put a little bit extra on. Ordinarily does not have control problems. There are your American League RBI leaders with Buddy Bell sitting right on top.
Strike. At third base, it's Evans. Second base, it's Fisk. First base, it's Lynn. 3-1 to count, nobody out, score tie. 3-2 now. He took something off, looked like this knuckle curveball.
What a spot to throw that, 3-1, and give him that hard-breaking ball. That's a pretty good pitch. Cannot be looking for in that situation.
Off his foot. It's a foul ball. Foul ball. So the count remains full. 4 singles in a row, and it's all tied up at 2 apiece. And I've just been handed an amazing statistic by our wizard here, Mr. Steve Dance. He says there's never been a grand slam home run in an all-star game. And you saw with that sign what the fans are saying. Well hit, left field, Baker's there. He makes the catch, the run will score. American League leads 3-2.
Now Jimmy Fry will send up a pinch hitter.
American League with 2 runs here in the bottom of the 6th. Take the lead, 3-2, and Eddie Murray is the pinch hitter for Rod Carew. You talk about your durable player.
Talk about strong. He can hit the ball on any park. He hits the opposite field a lot, left and right handed.
Takes a curveball for strike 1.
He was ill early in the year, so his stats really suffered. He had I think it was a strange virus. Came back pretty quickly.
Before that, Tony, he had played in 638 of the 643 games that's come to the big leagues. Ozzie Smith running the base runner, Fisk back to second. Murray has averaged 28 home runs and 99 plus RBIs per year in his first 4 seasons as an Oriole. 1 strike pitch now. Hot smash, Garvey has it to Ozzie Smith, low throw, nice play. Oh, what a play that magician made at shortstop. Tony just got through telling you about being the best, and there's why. Garvey threw a sinker, about a 30-footer, but Smith really made a good play.
He made a great play to stop the ball, but he had the composure to keep his foot on the bag and almost complete a double play. It was a very close play at first base. Garvey throws a sinker to Ozzie Smith. What a great stop. He kept the foot on the bag, the relay, very close at first base. Here's Fred Lynn, who almost gets hit by the shot off the bat of Eddie Murray. That may have shielded the vision of Steve Garvey at first base. What a great play by Ozzie
And look
Smith.
at that roll by Lynn. It was really a football block that he threw at Ozzie Smith on one play that Ozzie Smith really didn't have anything to do with as far as starting it. He got kind of busy. Watch Lynn go out to try to get him, and Smith does a little ballet dance about page 7 of the Fred Astaire book, and he's out of there.
You know, I think that play right there, along with some of the defensive plays, will show that these players are really out to give the fans a good show and to prove they have stayed in condition while the strike was going on. Simmons now the hitter.
So there are 2 men out. American League leading 3-2. Base hit right field. Fisk will score 4-2 American League. Murray will try for third, but nice. Oh, he held up. Ozzie Smith was going to try to help the throw, and luckily that Murray held up. That was good base running, Tony.
Really was, and a little communications problem between Smith and Trio. Smith was taking an offline throw, was going to relay the throw to Schmidt at third base. Murray did that all on his own. He was not looking for a coach. You can see Ozzie Smith was going to third. He saw the runner Murray go out of his vision, thought he was continuing on. Big base hit by Simmons. Now Dallas Green is going to pop out. And we're going to have a pinch runner at first base for Simmons. Randolph, who went out of the ball game, as we look at Ozzie Smith again.
Green's going to visit with Hoot. May make a pitching change, and I would say he is, the way he's just taking that ball. There goes Happy Hoot. So we've got a break in the action here as the American League is taking the lead here. It's 4-2 in the bottom of the 6th. We'll be right back with more action after these messages.
The pinch runner from the Kansas City Royals, Frank White, to replace Simmons, who pinch hit for Randolph. So White will stay in the game at second base. A new pitcher for the National League, Dick Ruthven of the Phillies. And Jimmy Fry is going to make a move right now, Joe.
He is. Al Oliver, who is hitting .388, 19 for 49 with men in scoring position. And he's got one on at second base in Eddie Murray. 4-2 is the score. We're in the bottom of the 6th, the American League. All singles. There's the strike. It started with Singleton. He singled to center. Evans singled to right. Fisk had a single. Lynn an infield hit. A sacrifice fly by Bell. Murray hit into a force out. A single by Simmons. And here we are with Oliver up there and 2 men out. It's popped up. Ozzie Smith going out hard. Tough play. Dusty Baker makes the play. Oh, what a play he made.
We have now seen 4 great plays in this All-Star game. Dusty Baker was playing Al Oliver very deep in left center field because Oliver has power in that direction. Smith sees he can't get it. Dawson over and a dive by Dusty, and he's got it. What a play. What a run.
What a play that was. Look at this. Tony, he was looking for collision.
It's a soft turf out there too, Joe, and Baker just kept on coming and waved everybody off.
The reaction you hear in the background, Bo Diaz is going in to catch. So it's 4-2 American League. At the end of 6, we'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Dusty Baker with that shoestring catch. Remember the first time you heard those words? Some make it look hard, some make it look easy. And there's Baker's catch, and he just made a few minutes ago. Some make it look hard, some make it look easy, but they all make the play.
To save the National League 2 runs.
We've got all kinds of changes. They have not been able to get him up to the press box yet, as Lee Elia is just now finishing with Bill Heller behind the plate. We've got a new pitcher, Ron Davis. We've got a new shortstop in Burleson. Right now, there's no left fielder. We're going to have a new left fielder. Tony Armas is going somewhere.
I think the confusion was, Joe, that Lynn was probably going to stay in the game, but I don't know if something happened to him because Winfield started to move to left field and Lynn was going to go to center, but now Winfield stays in center and Tony Armas goes to left. So it's Armas in left, Burleson at short.
And Ron Davis, the pitcher, and Bo Diaz is the catcher. There's Burleson. We'll give you where they're batting. Jim Fry has just gone over with Bill Haller to make sure.
I think the confusion might have been, in fact, even in Winfield's mind, he started to move to left field expecting Lynn to go to center, and Lynn didn't come out. Finally, Armas did, and Winfield stayed in center. But there's Ron Davis, who, after Gossage had some shoulder tightness, was scratched, and Davis took his place.
He faces Gary Carter. First pitch, straightaway center field. Winfield going back, near the wall, back, leaps, can't get it. There's no indication. Now it's a home run, indicated by the second base umpire, Lou DeMuro. What a try by Dave Winfield, but Gary Carter has his second home run of the night, and it's a 4-3 ball game.
Both times, Carter has jumped on the first pitch. That ball may have landed right on the top of the fence and then bounced out. Winfield almost had it. Here's Dave Winfield in center field. He looks for the warning track. He's now going to try and scale the wall just out of the reach of his glove off the top of the fence. Carter, 2 first pitch home runs as it just clears the fence.
Trio hits the first pitch, but Evans is there, makes the play, so there's 1 out. That home run by Carter puts him in the record book. Most home runs in the game to Archie Vaughan of the National League in 1941, Ted Williams in 46, Al Rosen in 1954 and Willie McCovey in 1969.
You see a chance to see Winfield's speed and his agility, and a home run that he just missed getting as he tries to scale the wall. Super efforts in this All-Star game, Joe, on both sides. Been outstanding play.
Yes, sir. Here's Garvey. Well, we showed you Ted Williams hitting that Ephus pitch for a home run in '46, which was one of the 2 home runs he hit to put him in the record book, and Carter is just going into the record books with that home run. Garvey, his first time at bat, 4-3. What excitement they've had here in this great city of Cleveland. Popped up. Burleson says, I'll take it. Arm is coming in, but the Rooster makes the play. There are 2 outs.
Kerry Carter. He didn't know it was gone. He's trying to beat out a long double, maybe a triple. I don't know if that is effort of glee. He's going to see it going out pretty soon.
He was rooting and running and falling at the same time. I tell you something, these ball players, they just do not run on batteries. The excitement was there, and Carter just tripped and fell. Guerrero's in the on-deck circle. Boy, they're using all the ball players, and it's still a pretty close ball game, Tony.
Pete Guerrero. Spent some time injured this year, but he looks like the center fielder that Tommy Lasorda has been looking for. He will remind you a little bit of Willie Mays with his actions defensively and at bat. Has tremendous power to all fields, a good throwing arm, can run. Excellent prospect.
It's his first All-Star game. Guerrero. Fastball misses. Davis leads all relief pitchers in the major leagues with 60 strikeouts. That's places him 4th overall in the American League. He was greeted with a home run. Misses with another fastball, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. 2 home runs by Carter. 1 by Parker. Home run by Singleton. We're glad to have baseball back. I have to join that banner, I'll tell you. There's Gary Carter. What a night he's had.
You telling Sponny how he did it?
I came down the elevator with him. I tell you, see him in the hotel lobby, it'd be tough to pick him out as a ball player. He looked like he just walked off Madison Avenue. 3-piece suit, dark glasses, briefcase. Foul ball, out of play.
Ron Davis, who has had an amazing strikeout record this year. I think the irony of that is it was Stan Williams, the former Yankee pitching coach, who told him to change his grip from a sinking fastball style and go cross seams and ride the fastball, and became more successful, and then Williams was fired.
He just blew it right by him. That ends the inning. So we go into the bottom half of the 7th inning, the American League 4 and the National League 3. And what a ball game this is turning out to be here in Cleveland. And 2 up, it'll be Winfield, Burleson, and Evans. Joe Garagiola and Tony Kubek here in Cleveland as we take a look at the city at night. And right in the center, Municipal Stadium, where quite a ball game is going on. Right now, the American League leading 4-3, bottom of the 7th, and a new pitcher on the mound for the National League, Vida Blue of the San Francisco Giants, and Bruce Benedict, the catcher. New battery. Winfield doesn't get it. It's strike 1. There you see Benedict.
Blue has been here before. Started for the American League. He's also started for the National League.
Winfield 0 for 2. Bounced out, walked, and flied to center field. Doesn't get it.
As you see, he can still be very overpowering over a short stretch.
I tell you, I don't know if it's the glove or the speed, but you can hear that ball just pop into the glove of Benedict. It's always a great sound for the pitcher, and the batter hates it. And there goes Carter, who so far has to be the star of this ball game.
Excellent young catcher, Bruce Benedict. He's got a good bat. He's hitting this year for Bobby Cox, Atlanta Braves.
Vida Blue.
A lot of first-timers in this All-Star game. Both teams.
4 runs, 11 hits, and no errors for the American League. 3 runs, 6 hits, and no errors for the National League. Two-strike pitch. Look out.
Blue so far is not going in any cute stuff. He has just thrown fastball after fastball to infield.
Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. Joe Garagiola with Tony Kupak here in Cleveland. American League leading 4-3. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Vida Blue with the count of strike 2 on Dave Winfield. Pull foul. Vida Blue was the first pitcher ever to start All-Star games for each league. 1971 Oakland, 1978 San Francisco. Named in 1971, 1975, 1978. And he started each year selected. So he had a little bit of a string broken. Outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Each manager sitting back in this close ball game. One with a guy named Bruce Sutter in his bullpen, the other with a guy named Raleigh Fingers. Dallas Green and Bill Verdon. There's Jimmy Fry. I bet Fry wishes he had the goose.
Straight away center field. Too high. Dawson has plenty of room. 1 out. Brings up Rick Burleson. Armas is batting in the 8th spot in the changes. Frank White, who went in at the same time, is in the 2nd spot, and the pitcher Davis is in the 3rd spot. And Burleson, who's up there now, is in the 5th slot.
A lot of controversy surrounding the shortstop selection of the American League. Some thought Burleson should make it. Some thought Yount should be here. Some thought Trammell should be here off last year. Great Tiger shortstop. A lot of good young shortstops around, Joe.
There are. Pull foul. And that's why I hope they never take it away from the fans, Tony. I mean, they vote and they argue. Well, or we vote and we argue. That's what it's all about.
I think really when Arch Ward started this, the Chicago area, his idea wasn't to make it a celebrity game, a fans game, a glamour event.
Dream.
And it has been that way. So, and there will always be arguments as to whom should be here and who should not. You're always going to leave some great players off. Always going to be some inequities. But tonight, it's been a pretty good game. With excellent coverage by our producer Mike Wiseman and our director Harry Coyle, who, I guess, do you think he ever gets blasé about doing big events? Oh, Harry? I doubt it.
High. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He just put that clip-on tie on and go his merry way.
Got the first one he ever owned.
Mike Schmidt can't get it. The throw. He throws it away. Burleson, though, will not be able to advance.
Little bit of a funny hop for Mike Schmidt. And then to show you how the adrenaline's pumping, even for a smooth fielder like Mike Schmidt, a veteran, he still almost threw it away and allowed an extra base. You can see the in-between hop, once again waiting back on the ball. Some people call them bad artificial fielding habits. You learn to wait on the ball. When you get on dirt and grass, it'll cause you some problems. You got to play the hop a little bit more when you play on dirt and grass because the ball does not bounce true.
So it's an error on Mike Schmidt. And listen to this. In 1935, here at Municipal Stadium, in an All-Star game, they drew 69,831, which has been the record. I'm going to give you the record in a minute. Foul ball out of play. Tonight, 72,086. It's a new record for an All-Star game. And last night, they had over 70,000 at a football game. Tell me that this city is not alive?
They've done a magnificent job after the postponements to get this field in shape. and to get the city enthused.
Foul ball out of play. Yes, sir. A lot of people get a lot of credit, beginning with the ground crew. There's a lucky, happy fan, a Yankee fan at that. But Marshall Bossett and his ground crew, yeoman work to get ready here.
You know, Gabe Paul, who is now the president of this ball club, has said that Cleveland is a sleeping giant. We get a good team, which he's put together. They were competitive in the first half. He said, you will really see something, and he's proving it tonight. Credit also to Phil Segi, general manager of the ball club, and they've done a marvelous job.
Benedict behind that plate, he can throw. It gets away from him all the way back. Burleson rounding second. The Roosters aggressive. He's going to try for third. Here's the throw. He makes it.
Blues pitch to Benedict. He tried to block it, went off the heel of his glove, but watch the Rooster. He does not have a lot of speed, but he never stopped. Benedict with a good throwing arm. He paused just a bit before he saw Burleson going, and here he is. There is no one who competes harder in this game, and he is not gifted with a whole lot of ability, Rick Burleson.
Benedict has thrown out more base stealers than any other National League catcher, so that tells you he can throw, but the Rooster challenged him and he won, and now the infield has come in. American League leading 4-3. Burleson at third, and it's fouled off. The tribute they pay to Burleson is that they say he's even-tempered. He comes to the ballpark mad and stays that way. And he plays hard.
You're an old-timer, you say, comes from the old school. Evans has been good with men on base this year. In fact, since the middle of last year.
Popped up. Ozzie Smith chasing it hard. Burleson is not tagging up. Dawson runs him off, wisely so, and Burleson has to hold. Now the local, Bo Diaz, the batter.
Star, you can see, is sitting on top of the league and hitting, although he does not have enough official at-bats. But last year, Ron Hesse hit almost 320 for this ball club, and now Diaz is splitting the job. Always been good defensively. He's never hit like this, though.
Strike one. As you listen and watch this game, you have to, I'm sure, feel like I do with this crowd reaction. They are just cheering at the right time, booing at the right time. It looks like a pretty good baseball season coming up.
Blue appears to have a pretty good fastball, but when Blue's fastball is most lively, it's usually down low in the strike zone, which is unlike a lot of power pitchers. Usually their ball moves better up high in the strike zone, and he is high today.
Diaz, 385 against left-handed pitching. Off the handle, he just got jammed. He fought it off. His first All-Star game in front of the hometown folks. 4-3 is the score. American League out in front. 2 men out. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Burleson is on it at third. He's safe on an error and went all the way to third on a wild pitch. Fouls it off.
He's somehow staying alive on good pitches. There's Burleson at third. You know, the commissioner's office had 80 dozen baseballs ready for the specially imprinted autographed All-Star baseballs for this game. And before the game, they were having trouble finding about 40 dozen. Couldn't find out who walked off with them.
Those baseballs have turned into suits, shoes, and everything. He got him. Bo Diaz is out on strikes. That ends the inning. They threatened when Schmidt made this error. But you know, when an infielder misses the ball, there's an outfielder there. But when an outfielder misses it, it can get pretty exciting.
Ambassador to the world, a baseball owner, and Cleveland's very own Mr. Bob Hope. I don't need to say who you're rooting for.
You know it. You know it. I want to see him win. And in this park, I want to see him win.
One serious question, as one who knows and understands and has been around the entertainment industry, understands the entertainment industry's relationship with the public, how do you think the public will deal with this industry as the season progresses?
Oh, they can't miss. They can't miss. This has been the national pastime for so long, and look at this crowd. You know, this is it. And they'll come back. They've gone to other things for maybe something that's important, you know, reading and stuff. But they'll come back because this is in their heart. They were born with this.
Bob, thank you. You look terrific.
Thank you, Brian. Good
and Joe, indeed, it does seem like the strike's ancient history.
I tell you, it's the quickest makeup in history. Raleigh Fingers is the new pitcher. He's going against Ozzie Smith. Fingers, second in the American League with 12 saves. He's had 8 saves in his last 11 appearances. 36 strikeouts in 40 innings pitched. He's been hot.
I don't know who the first relief pitcher to go Hall of Fame is, but Fingers sure got a chance. Is there one in now, a relief pitcher? Wilhelm, he's not in.
No, I'd have to think about that.
Yeah, I would too, but boy, this guy's over the long haul. There's been nobody better, year in and year out. Oakland to San Diego, now the Brewers. Smith can steal a base for you. He can run.
Smith draws the base on balls. It's 4-3 the score here. American League out in front. And Mike Easler will be batting for the first time in this game before the hometown folks.
Jimmy Fry, the American League, has used every one of his regular players. He still has pitchers left. Dallas Screen still has Bill Madlock, Phil Garner, Bill Buckner, Tim Raines.
It's a strike. Ozzie Smith at first base has stolen 125 bases over the last 3 seasons, and they're trailing by a run. You know they're looking for him to run. He's got a good lead at first. Easler takes it low. 1 ball, 1 strike. There he goes, a big jump. Good ball to handle, thrown into center field. And now Smith's going to try for third. They got him hung up. Buddy Bell to Burleson. And now Fingers has to cover. And Smith falls and it's all over. Everybody's down.
That was the most graceful play of the evening on a lot of people's parts. And Ozzie Smith probably should have stopped right with this. Diaz hit the umpire. No, it just pops out.
In practice is playing spring training, some catchers. You throw it into center field and set it up.
All right, this will give you an idea of the things that go unnoticed with a Dave Winfield. See how far he came in, playing deep on Easler to back up the play, and Fingers backed up the play properly to tag out Smith.
And there goes a half gainer by Raleigh Fingers. The play goes 2, 8, 5, 6 as Smith decides he's going to make it to third and says, uh-oh, got to make a U-turn. But it's too late. And now it's Bell chasing him, and now it's Burleson, and Fingers is there. And keep in mind, the way you make this play, only one man should handle that ball.
Well, Winfield made the play on my part by coming in as quickly as he did, showing the great throwing arm and the alertness. He prevented that runner from going to third. Very alert play by Dave Winfield.
Outside.
Now, Winfield in his senior year at the University of Minnesota was a pitcher. He was 13 wins and 1 loss. He has a great throwing arm.
3-1 pitch. Had a good cut at it. That was some play. Smith does come up with something. He gets a stolen base on that. There's the mayor of Cleveland with his wife, Mayor George Voinovich. We saw him last night, and he should be a proud man tonight with this reaction. He's had well, he referred to this as a historic weekend, and that certainly has proven to be.
See now, you got Eastler on, and you do have Tim Raines sitting on the bench, who is capable of pinch running. A great speedster from the Montreal Expos, but apparently Dallas Green will not use him now.
That play on Smith, if you were scoring, went 8, 5, 6, and 1 with fingers getting the put out. And in the final analysis, you got to call that a bad base running play by Smith, because he is the tying run at second base with nobody out.
Winfield made it a bad base running play with that arm and that alertness, I think.
Ozzie Smith is still at the water cooler. Bill Buckner is standing right in front of him, but Ozzie trying to wipe himself off. He looks like he fell off the truck, doesn't he? Straight away center field. Winfield is going back, way back. He'll not get this one. Dusty Baker fouls it off for strike one.
Schmidt gets a chance to extend the arms. That ball is inside, and yet Schmidt, having backed off the plate, we saw him last year take an inside low pitch and hit the right center field, something he never did before. He gets his arms extended even on an inside pitch now. You talk about redeemers after a little rough time he's had down at third base.
Well, he has given the National League the lead. It's 5-4 here in the 8th inning. Doesn't get it.
I'll tell you, the National League has created a great tradition in their dominance. In 17 of the last 18, and a lot of that dominance started in the era of Willie Mays and Hank Aaron and Clemente and Frank Robinson. Just been a carryover now in the attitude of the National League team. They come in so confident.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Mike Schmidt has averaged 1 home run every 15.06 times at bat in his 8-year career.
Shouldn't forget to mention those pitching staffs with the Koufaxes and Drysdale and Gibson.
Low. Diaz is taking a beating back there. His fingers is bouncing sinkers up there. 5-4. National League has just taken the lead. 2 home runs by Carter. A home run by Parker. A home run by Schmidt. Singleton, a home run for the American League. It's fouled off. While I got a chance here, earlier we gave you an address if you wanted the All-Star Souvenir Program. You send $4, and if you're from Canada, it's $4.50. Be sure to include your name and address. There is the address, All-Star Program, Post Office Box 243, Burleson. Long throw, not in time. A base hit for Dusty Baker.
He had a chance to see one of the best throwing arms around among shortstops by Burley.
There's the play by Burleson.
He's from the outfield.
Way out there.
Just out of the reach of Bell. Not hit that well. Burleson had to go a long ways, 8-10 steps. Rights himself with a strong throw, but just not in time.
So that address once again, All-Star Program, Post Office Box 243, Norwood, New Jersey, 07648. That's $4, and in Canada, $4.50. Be sure to include your name and address.
Well, Baker is going to leave the game, and you're going to see Mr. Excitement of this season come in. Tim Raines, who was en route, was right on track to break Lou Brock's record before the strike.
So Baker trots off. And Raines, he is stretching those legs down at first base. The 4 home runs for the National League ties a record for one club in an All-Star game. Tim Raines in 1981, 50 stolen bases in 56 attempts after 54 games. And it is sheer speed. Lou Brock in 1974 had 38 stolen bases after 40 attempts. High-tie fastball, ball 1. Scouts say that Raines just simply outruns the ball. Hey, he draws a throw, gets by the first baseman Murray. He's ready to go to third, but he stops at second. It'll be an error on fingers.
You know, you almost get the feeling after the dominance by the National League, 17 of the last 18 ball games they've won, that the American League, when the reserves come in, and the reserves have been a big part for the National League, the American League's looking for things to happen, and they are. Raines draws the throw from fingers, gets away from Murray. He's in scoring position.
Tony, he took 2 quick looks, too, to see if he'd go to third. Murray was behind the runner, never did get a glove close to it.
Charlie Metro, the Dodgers scout, has kept that stopwatch on a lot of base stealers in his time. He said there's never been a man that he can recall that he has time could get from first base to second as fast as Raines. These including Wills and Brock and Morgan and some names. You can go on and on. Dave Steve comes out for the Toronto Blue Jays.
So the break in the action here, and it's 5-4, National League leading. We'll be right back after these messages. A shot of Cleveland, Ohio. And you see Municipal Stadium, the site of tonight's game. Joe Garagiola with Tony Kubek. And what a ball game we're seeing. All kinds of home runs. 4 by the National League, 1 by the American League. And we've got a new pitcher in there for the American League, Dave Steve from the Toronto Blue Jays. He'll be going against Andre Dawson with Tim Raines, a pinch runner, on at second base. There's 1 man out. 5-4 is the score. National League out in front. Frank White checking with the pitcher.
Well, he's going to make sure that Steve, a fairly young pitcher, although he's been in All-Star competition before, keeps a little bit of an eye on Tim Raines because he will steal third base. Steve is a tough pitcher to catch. His ball moves a lot.
There you see Raines. Fouled off, strike 1. Dawson had a base hit in the second inning, bounced out in the 4th, and he struck out in the 6th. Broke his bat. Dick Williams, the manager of Tim Raines, is on coaching at third base, and we'll be seeing the Montreal Expos and the Cardinals next Saturday as we go back to our NBC Game of the Week schedule. We'll be in Montreal.
You know, this is a special thrill for Dave Steve. He's having a pretty good week. There you see our games, Royals versus Cardinals, or the Indians versus... Well, I got that wrong.
If the Royals
Indians, Cardinals, Expos. I'm thinking of championship series. Right?
You're thinking of an all-Missouri series, Tony. Hometown St. Louis.
It's hard to say about Steve. He's having a pretty good week because he's getting married on Friday. His fiancee Patty's here in the stand. Tune in Saturday. A couple good ball games for you.
Nice play by Diaz. Steve misses. 2 balls, 1 strike. Steve, second All-Star team. Good crowd on hand here. We hope that Mr. Burns, Britt Burns' dad, who's in a hospital, able to catch some of the All-Star game. Britt thinking about him all night long. Tapped in front of the plate. Steve, his only plays at first base. There goes Raines. There'll be no play. As soon as he started to throw the first, Raines took off.
They tell me Raines' sides were so sore and tore up from all the sliding before this strike.
There you see Mary Alicia Watson and Arthur Watson, our #1 man here in sports. President and Chief Operating Officer Bob Mulholland was here earlier. He's gone. Sandy Haddon, and the lady on the left is Louisa Kuhn, Commissioner's wife. Strike Benedict takes a fastball.
And Dave Steve is really keeping a wary eye out for Tim Raines down at third base, who got a pretty good lead on that pitch. You see him jockeying off.
Fouled off. Two strikes, 2 outs, 5-4. National League out in front. Home run by Mike Schmidt gave him the lead. Fastball misses. You know, it was in this ballpark last All-Star game when Shane Deans had to steal home, was out, and they claimed balk on Dean Stone.
Yogi tagged him out, didn't he?
He tagged him, but he wasn't out because they called him safe. So that ends the inning, 5-4, and we're talking about home runs. I keep thinking about Reggie Jackson's home run off Doc Ellis in Detroit. Remember that one? Nobody enjoys watching Reggie Jackson hit more than Reggie Jackson. And there it goes, a tremendous home run by Reggie off the light standard in deep right field, high atop the roof in Detroit. The American League won that game. The highlight, that home run. It was the last time they won. It was 1971. American League 6, National League 4. How we've been getting those great aerial shots that you're looking at right now as we zoom in on Municipal Stadium. And we're going in right to the new left fielder, and there he is, Tim Raines. Raines in left field. And Bill Matlock, he's at third base. And the new pitcher is Nolan Ryan. Ryan batting fourth, Matlock is batting first.
So aside from pitchers, Jimmy Fry, the American League, has no regulars left in case he needs a pinch hitter. And Bill Buckner, last year's National League batting champs, is left for Dallas Green.
Tony Armas leads it off for the American League here in the bottom of the eighth. They trail by a run. 13 home runs, 41 runs batted in, hitting .289 for Billy Martin and the Oakland A's. High ball one. Nolan Ryan, a strikeout pitcher.
Oh, you hear him grunt? Oh, you can hear him grunt all the way up here with that effort. Possessor of 4 no-hitters along with Sandy Koufax.
He is average.
Hall of Famer.
He's averaged 9.56 strikeouts and 5.36 walks per 9 innings in his career. Nolan Ryan. Fouled back. 2 balls, 1 strike.
It's had an exceptional year for the Astros. There are the all-time strikeout leaders: Johnson, Gaylord, Perry, Nolan Ryan third, Carlton, and Seaver. 3 men in this ball game.
Curveball, didn't get it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 5-4. National League out in front, bottom of the eighth. 72,086, a new All-Star game attendance record here in Cleveland. He got him a high fastball. Armas is out on strikes, and Nolan Ryan, first batter, first strikeout.
There are a lot of hitters that want no part of Nolan Ryan because he's conveniently wild and throws very hard. There is Dallas Green's ace in the hole. The split-fingered fastball. Some players have tried to mimic it, none as good as his. Bruce Sutter. See, he's got a couple of wins and a save in All-Star appearances.
Boy, with that shot, he looks right out of a Charlton Heston movie, doesn't he? Beard, one of those Vikings. Leif Erikson. Which way to America? Buddy Bell, center field. Dawson is there, and there are 2 away. Here is Eddie Murray.
He hit a ball pretty hard that was hit at Garvey that Ozzie Smith turned out in a force out, which turned out to be a big play, I think, in this ball game. Could have been a lot of trouble for the National League.
There's a
Smith
strike.
hadn't gotten that force out. Defense too often goes overlooked.
Garvey at first base right now really guarding the line. Outside. I want to get that all-star play right that I talked about, Tony, because I know DeRoche's listening. He'll argue with me. Shane Deans thought he had scored, but they called him out, and Dean Stone, DeRoche thought, had balked.
Right. Yogi tagged him out for the out.
And it all ended up that he was out.
You bet. You know, I was thinking of there's Jimmy Fry again, who, again, not taking anything away from the American League pitching staff as we look at Frank White, but he would love to have the goose. As Dallas Green has Suter.
Bouncing ball to Trio. That grunt you hear is Nolan Ryan. So it's 3 up and 3 down. We complete 8 innings of play here. The score, National League 5, the American League 4.
Britt Burns. The doctor said that they would take a television set and turn the volume up and hope that a message from Britt might be a form of therapy, that he might respond. And Britt, of course, is very hopeful, and we're sending out a prayer to Pops and the family.
I think all of baseball would join you, Tony, all the fans, as Bill Buckner is up there now as a pinch hitter. Buckner from the Chicago Cubs. Batting for Trio. Murray has it. Steve covers. He's 1 away.
So now Dallas Green is left with Phil Garner on his bench.
There is Britt Burns out in the bullpen with
Denny Summers.
Denny Summers, the coach in Cleveland. Line drive, left field. It is a fair ball. Armas cuts it off. Here's the throw. It's off target, and Garvey has himself a double.
Armas has a great throwing arm, but he's used to throwing from right field. Playing in left field is strange to him. He's one of the players, well, I guess some rank it the best outfield in baseball. You can get a lot of arguments. Murphy and Henderson and Armas. Throw a little high to Frank White. Garvey hustles out a double.
So it brings up Bill Madlock for the first time in this game. 5-4. National League's out in front. We're in the top of the 9th. Bouncing ball. Burleson, big hop's going to go to first base in time. Taking third is Garvey. Brings up Ozzie Smith, the shortstop. Ozzie walked his last time up, and that's when you saw that play when he tried to steal. Well, he was successful in the steal. The throw went into center field. And Winfield threw it to Bell, and Bell gave it to Burleson. Burleson said, "Here, Raleigh Fingers, you take it," and they finally tagged him out.
Seen some errors in this ballgame, but there have been a lot of runs saved by great defensive plays. Baker saved 2 with a dive and left. Winfield may have saved a run with his play getting Smith. Smith may have saved 1 or a couple by scooping out Garvey's throw.
If there's one area I think that they've been rusty or look rusty, it's throwing. They've made bad throws. Catcher, that throw Armas just made.
Yeah, and you talk about Bell's play at third on the shot getting
Right.
Smith.
Garvey's sinker he threw to Ozzie Smith when he didn't make a great play.
Crew made an exceptional play at first base early in the ball game, saving a double off Parker. Been generally a well-played game. The players look much sharper in this game than some people thought. But basically, it's been a game of home runs along with the defensive plays.
And it's a 5-4 ball game with the National League out in front. Fouled off. Dusty Baker has a slightly pulled groin muscle. Made that great catch, and that's where he hurt his leg. And Tommy Lasorda just got up and had a drink.
He also ran very hard down to first base, beating out a base hit. And then Tim Raines. There's Scott McGregor, possessor of maybe the best changeup in baseball. You can argue he's got a great one.
Fastball. They thought it was a strike, but Bill Haller says no. Oh, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You guys proved it tonight. None better than Cleveland.
None better than Cleveland.
Put on a show. Looked like it was gone for a while. Still setting a major league attendance record.
Foul out of play. Well, they gave us T-shirts, Tony, that said, say something nice about Cleveland. We can wear that, and it'll be the truth. You don't have to work too hard to say something nice.
Oh, you're just saying all this to get the day like Howard Cosell.
Get out of here. I said it on the Carson show before you thought about it. Fastball misses. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Three-two pitch. Walk team. So, National League has Ozzie Smith at first. Steve Garvey is at third. And here is Mike Easler. He walked and scored.
Smith, stolen base threat, although you might say it's unlikely with 2 out that Dallas Green would not want to take the bat out of Easler's hand. And Easler's story is a good one. We told you he's from Cleveland. Spent a dozen years in the minor leagues. His father is here today, and he thought his father would not be around because he had some very serious surgery over the spring of the year. And he's here watching his son in an all-star game.
Easler has not gone more than 2 games without a hit this season. Five runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the National League. 4-11-1 for the American League. Fastball misses. Ball 1. Smith a good lead at first. Bouncing ball to Burleson. In time to force his on. That ends the inning. And we go into the bottom of the 9th. It's National League 5, American League 4. We've had a lot of interesting plays in this ball game, and we're going to show you some of them.
Dallas Green has put in his last regular. Phil Garner has gone in to second base. Bruce Sutter is the pitcher.
And Frank White, the batter, fouls it off.
Both managers have used all the regular players. With Sutter coming in now to try and finish this game off for the National League, the only pitcher left for Dallas Green is Carlton, lefty. For the American League, Britt Burns, Doug Corbett of the Twins, and Scott McGregor of the Orioles.
Foul ball. And it's strike 2.
I think it's unusual because Dave Stieb is in the on-deck circle.
You don't think he's going to bat?
Who's he got? That's it. Dave Stieb spent a lot of years in the minor leagues. He broke in as an outfielder. The Toronto Blue Jays converted him. Now, unless I've missed something, Stieb's got to hit for himself because there isn't anybody left.
I'm looking at my scorecard, and
looks
I can't
like a
read
bingo
it.
card. Every regular's been used. I think really where the crink came in the armor of, if there is a word like that, of
what?
Crink in the armor of Jimmy Fry. It's when Fred Lynn couldn't go out and play defense, and Armas had to come in earlier than he expected. If Lynn got hurt or what happened.
Pull foul. Look out there.
Well, Gary Carter in this game of home runs, I think has got my vote. He had two first pitch home runs. There's the trophy, which will be presented by the Commissioner of Baseball, Bowie Kuhn.
I got to give it to Carter. He made a great throw. First inning as Madlock comes up with it. And there's one out. Dave Steve will bat for himself. 56 players were used in this game as we check it. And that's a new All-Star game record. So most players used. And biggest crowd ever in an All-Star game.
Well, you hate to say it, but Jimmy Fry has put himself in an embarrassing position. Down by one, having to let his pitcher hit. But Steve has swung a bat before in the minor leagues, but with the DH in the American League, he hasn't. He's been in the major leagues. And that's what the boos are for. There's nobody left, and that is because of not the crink, but the chink in the armor.
That's the first game. You're looking at another historical event. It's the first at bat in the major leagues for Dave Steve.
Yeah.
Five to 4 is the score, and the American League, who have not won an All-Star game since 1971, are 2 outs away from losing this one. The dominance of the National League will continue.
Maybe. You still got to get by Winfield. Still got to get by Winfield.
Listen to the crowd.
Well, Jimmy Fry has got to be a little embarrassed, but it really isn't all his fault. I think because of Freddie Lynn having to leave the game. For what reason, we haven't gotten a report. But he still gets his cleanup hitter up to face Suter with that split-fingered fastball. Guy Suter throws what I think it may be a pitch that embarrasses more hitters than even a knuckleball. I mean, that thing starts chest high and it bounces in the dirt and you swing at it. Taught to him by the late Freddie Martin, his minor league pitching coach. Saved his career.
Winfield is 0 for 3, 0 for 4. 0 for 3, make it. Bruce Suter was the winning pitcher in the 1978-1979 All-Star game. He earned a save last season. Chance for a save here. 5-4. Winfield doesn't get it.
Chances are pretty good that Suter will throw him nothing to hit that will not be a split-fingered fastball. You've heard of the fork ball. A little bit different grip, a little bit harder, with tremendous downward action on it.
One ball, 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. 5 to 4, bottom of the 9th. Bruce Suter.
American League needs a big one right here to break the dominance.
Doesn't get it. What do you think he's going to throw now? Here comes Uncle Charlie. Be ready. He's going to wrap this up with a blue ribbon and throw that split-fingered fastball. He's going for the strikeout. Fouls it off.
You can see Winfield, he really cut his swing down, just trying to get a piece of it. That wasn't the home run swing, folks. Just trying to put the ball in play off Suter. Hey, Bruce Benedict, the catcher from Atlanta, is used to catching trick pitchers. He's got Necro with that knuckleball, Perry with those strange pitches he throws, so he's used to balls moving funny.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 5-4. National League leading, bottom of the 9th. Take a look at it, he says. Take a look at it. That ball really dipped. Ball 3, 3-2. Bill Haller takes a good look at it, says it's all right. Well, it's down to the final pitch.
Maybe.
The 2 richest people, I guess, in baseball. Winfield and Suter. You're looking at millionaire against millionaire. Giants of the industry. Remains full, 3-2.
He went split-fingered fastball.
And there's the owner of the Yankees, Mr. George Steinbrenner, looking at his franchise, Dave Winfield, in the batter's box. Bruce Sutter, Cardinals. We'll have the Cardinals in Montreal next Saturday. Left field, this could be it. Raines is there, ball game is over. National League wins it 5-4. 5-9-1 for the National League, 4 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error for the American League. The winning pitcher is Vida Blue. He ties Lefty Gomez with 3 All-Star Game wins. It's a record, a save for Suter. The loser is Raleigh Fingers. The game-winning RBI was by Mike Schmidt. Gary Carter had 2 home runs. Parker had a home run. Singleton gave the American League an early lead in the second with a home run, but it was not to be, Tony. It was not to be, and it looks like Gary Carter is the